Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota, and with me today is a guest who has not been on for quite some time, but I'm really happy to have him back, Mr. TUG. How are you doing, sir?
Hey there, I'm doing good, man. Internet criminal. What are you talking about? I need a better intro.
Well, listen, I'm just treating you with the southern hospitality, calling you sir, and then we are going to rip you apart for your internet crimes.
Oh man. Ugh.
But I want to, we'll get some introductions out of the way first, before we get into that. I'm sure there are people who are going to be very perturbed. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Why you are such a lightning rod of anger and resentment for some people. But, because I am an angelic gem and no one is ever mad at me. So
they find it hard to carry my wallet. Are you sponsored by Ridge Wallet, by the way? I mean, they can get one just like me.
I was sponsored by them. I'm not anymore. I don't know.
Yellow Flash, he is then. Go and check it out. You get a wallet just like that. Now, how you fill it up is your business.
Yeah, I don't. They didn't like unsponsor me. They just stopped calling. And I don't chase down sponsorships or anything. So it's like, well, if they want to do something else, I have no grudge against it. I still carry my Ridge wallet every day. I really like it, and I have one of their backpacks and one of their knives, and I like all of them. They're great products. So.
Damn, I like that pitch on winning them back. By the way, listen, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, in case they watch the show. But no, I wanted to talk to you about just what pisses people off so much about you. And then, once we get done with your internet trial, I figured we'd talk about some stuff like the Johnny Depp case, which you have been all over that thing. I've had a bunch of people ask me about it, and I'm like, I hate celebrities and I hate family law. So this is like it's a nightmare combination. But,
I hate celebrities too. Like people get that confused. I don't give a shit about Johnny Depp. We talk about due process so much, and this dude, he dropped $1.26 million on that last trial. How many of us can ever do that? That's just one trial, So yeah, we'll get to that on there for sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of the law. To do the law properly, to properly engage it, you have to drop just monumental amounts of money. Even some of the suits we've seen on this show, like the Vic case, the Keemstar case, Sargon, and the numbers look big, a couple $100,000. That's not actually a big lawsuit. That's kind of a normie level lawsuit. When you start getting into real money and real fights, I mean, it goes, the price just goes up, 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 up. And I think of this guy in Minnesota. He had started a medical device company years ago, and he got a federal indictment for some false advertising stuff, and he beat the charges, but it cost his company over $20 million to mount his defense. And it's like, and if he didn't have a company that could pay $20 million, he would have probably had to, plea out. And the crazy thing was, what he did, even if they agreed with everything the prosecutor said, it was legal. Like he was charged for a crime that wasn't actually a criminal act. And they maintain that they never even did it. But even if they had, it would have been perfectly legal. And in fact, the entire defense of the case, the prosecution rested their case. His attorney stood up and said, "The defense rests, Your Honor," and sat down. Like they didn't do anything for defense, and he was acquitted on all the charges. But still, to get that result was $20 million.
See, that's what, you and Ty Beard really got me thinking about. It is a numbers game, and if we talk about whatever you want to call it these days, cancel Karens, cancel culture. We talk about this shit all the time, but to fight it effectively, man, I mean, very few, there's going to be a tiny percentage of us that can afford to fight it in the judicial system. I find it fascinating. I can't look away from it. And really, I hope they win too, because it might shut somebody up one day.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to do it. I got my hopes up with Bieber. getting the Me Too and immediately going nuclear.
Mhm.
But I think that'll end up fluttering out. And the problem is when he finds out, if he's able to find out who made the false accusations, because they did it with an anonymous account. If he's ever able to find out, they're probably just going to be random nobodies,
Right.
with nothing to compensate the damage that they do.
Hey, if I had lots of money though, I would bury some random fuck. I would. I mean, let's be honest. I would make a point out of it. I'd be like, yeah, you think that you don't have something. You value those 6 cats that you're going to grow old with. I'm taking them all.
You're like, I'm opening a restaurant. No, it's now I'm starting to understand why people are mad at you on the internet. I'm just kidding. You seem a little vindictive.
Yeah,
But it, I get it though. I of course make a joke, but you get it, because the way people act on the internet now, you can't just laugh at someone, right? You can't just people can't look and observe. It's got to be an assassination. Like nothing else will satisfy. It's like North Korea, right? It's always got to be a bigger explosion at the end of the day. And I think back in recent events. I don't know if you've been watching Vic's stuff at all, but he was at a convention just the past weekend, and the same people who have been hounding him relentlessly for over a year now, just lost their damn minds and acted like he somehow was murdering his entire fan base and everybody that they've ever met. But they didn't, they don't say anything about anybody else at the same convention. It's just Vic, because they can't stand that he's still alive.
Yeah, that's what that's why I like cases like the Depp case, because you're bringing in a monstrous amount of normies, let's whatever we want to call them. But I mean, these are people that do not understand that all of this shit, it's gone sideways. All these hashtags they thought worked out. Yeah, look at your favorite star out there, that superstar. They're ruining him. So they did all this stuff too. Let's bring them back to it,
Yeah. It's and Depp is such an interesting case, because he got immediately canceled, maligned. They immediately believed Amber Heard, and of course, as things started developing, one thing I've been saying a lot lately is, as with anything in law, there's more to the story. There's more to the story, and of course, Depp, he comes out, as far as I've seen, looking like the better party in this. But he's not unscathed. I mean, he's still a weirdo, right? And he's a drug addict and a weirdo for a while, at least, if not still. And so that type of stuff comes out too. There's always more to these stories, but so I guess it could be pretty interesting.
I think the weirdos are the easy targets, I mean, that's the thing. And, I mean, we're sitting here in the middle of the night talking about these cases while, one of us drinks. And, well, let's say 2 of us drinks tonight. So, I don't know. Maybe we fall into some type of weirdo in there.
Are you going to be imbibing the?
Yes. Anytime I'm lazy. I always just I get out some Jack Daniels and go to it. I've developed a taste over the years for the home brew. So
I let me put a little dox on you. I bought this right by you the other day. I don't know where you actually live, but I know the rough area, and I got this Peg Leg Porker 12-year bourbon. And if you've never been to the Peg Leg Porker in Nashville, I would strongly encourage you to do so.
I think I'll need to go over there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this bourbon is great. But the restaurant is also very, very good. They do pork and chicken barbecue. They don't do beef. But it's okay. We can forgive them for their indiscretions. They're really good stuff though. But,
yeah, it's like alcohol wise, yeah, fuck it. The rest of it's good.
but yeah, so that's what I'll be drinking tonight, is this Peg Leg Porker, which makes me very happy. But yeah, so I wanted to, I guess we can go ahead and get started on your internet crimes, and right. I'll kind of talk about the genesis. Some of the people on my channel have heard the story a little bit, and it hasn't really developed much, but I wanted to get your kind of take on this stuff, and then I figured we could transition that into a talk about internet drama. There's some communities that you and I have both followed and been at least tangentially related to that are just fraught with it. So I figured we could talk about that, and then we'll move on to the Depp stuff. And then of course we've got to talk about Sophie, because that thing is a developing heartbreak.
Man, the first time I saw that video, that stuff is soul killing. You know, one good thing, like the last times we've talked before, I've never been able to talk about past history, but since now I can. You know, I've worked in mental health. I've worked with child victims, and I see that stuff. It reminds me of children sitting across the table from me. I can see all the signs in there. People that are like, well, maybe that's fake. No, that's not fake, man. You can tell.
That little 9-year-olds, if you let me help you out here. Let me help you out here as a dad who has had 9-year-olds as children. 9-year-olds aren't good actors. This might come as a shock to you. They're really actually terrible actors. And if you want any evidence of this, go watch any play or musical or anything that they do with their school, and try to not claw your own face off in just sadness at how terrible they are at acting. Kids don't act the way that she was doing. That was very much that was pain. Now, kids can get things wrong. Their minds can make things different. They can add details or whatever. That's not the same thing. What I could take away from the short amount of that video that I was able to watch is that this little girl is in serious distress.
Oh yeah.
And anyone ignoring it is criminally acting, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's what I do not understand. Like for myself, if I met with that child, or I even had the remote inclination that child was being abused, and I pick up the phone and call somebody, that kid would have been out of that house. And they would have investigated. I guess I don't know, old boy network. And so I keep hearing that more and more. You know, the mom is friends with the judge and this and that, and I'm like, man, I can believe that. You know, small town. I know I live in a small town. I know it works.
Yeah, and it's funny because the small town judges, you know, in my county, for example, in the county seat here, Candy, Ojai County, Minnesota, #doxed. There are, I think, 3 or 4 judges, and depending on where you practice, you'll see like 1 or 2 of them with every case, and everybody in the community ends up knowing them because they're judges and they're appointed and then elected. They're elected, but usually the way judgeship passes in Minnesota is they'll get appointed temporarily and then run as an incumbent. But so they're political figures. Everybody knows them. They're usually somewhat prominent in the community. They were likely an attorney in the community in some capacity for a long time, and they develop relationships over years. And so to see that old boy network spring up is actually not rare at all. And it's one thing I hate about having county attorneys involved in anything, especially with family stuff, is that the county attorneys work in the same, they work in the same building as the judges, and they work with them every day, and they develop the same kind of working relationships that anybody else would when you're in an office with someone 8 hours a day. And I think that they lose track of what's actually in the best interest of the child, sometimes because of that. I'm not saying that's what happened with Sophie or anything like that, but it's
hey, I can say that. I'll say that, and then if I'm wrong, sorry.
Why? I don't know if it's the county attorney or I hear it's the mom's attorney, right? Yeah. So, but just laying out that depending on how active the lawyer is and what type of practice they do. I mean, they do work with the judges a lot. And when you go in, it's kind of uncomfortable for some clients because they're like, why is that judge joking with the attorney? Like that doesn't seem, how is this going to be fair? And you're like, well, it's not.
I mean, that's that's an awakening to a lot. Like I said, for me, I know, I know that, in child custody disputes, it's already unfair to the father. But
Yep.
just seeing some of this play out, I mean, it is a wake up call to people outside of the law.
Yeah. And hopefully, the more this stuff comes out, the more people will push for change. And that's what needs to be done. Because people, at the end of the day, these judges are elected at the state level in most of these states. And so there are, every couple years they get to run again. And most judges do not have a hot button public issue. But when one comes up and they act in a certain way, there's an opportunity there. And judges don't get to spend a lot on their own campaigns, but people can do what people have the ability to say what they want about them and really, really take them to task. So that's something that maybe we'll start to see more as people get more and more public views of what's going on in courtrooms around the country.
Well, that judge, welcome to the internet. That's all I gotta say. People know them now.
Yeah, she's that ruling was terrible. I heard that ruling has been reversed. That the gag order has been lifted. But I don't know. We'll have to talk about that when we get there. First, I got a couple chats, and then you will answer for your crimes.
All right. I mean, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to. Oh no.
I'm just buttering you up for this. Mongo5817 says, a little confused about California SB 145. Why is it only okay for a 21-year-old adult to have sex with an 11-year-old as long as they are willing and the same sex? Sounds unconstitutional towards cisgender pedos. There's actually the reason I haven't really covered those bills yet is because the way they're written as bills looks really, really bad, but the way they're implemented in regard to other statutes might only be really bad. If that makes sense. And from what I'm picking up, it looks like the bill is actually bringing in line registration requirements for same-sex offenders to be the same as cisgender offenders, which the bad part of that is that the cisgender law is already the way the new law is.
See, that's awakening.
That's terrifying. That's the bad part. But
when I read that and I saw like will exempt from mandatory registration under the act a person committed that is no more than 10 years older than the minor, and talking about starting at 14. So 10 years older than 14 if it's their first offense, and the judge is okay with that. I thought, holy crap, so hearing that already exists, that makes me feel so much better. Oh.
Who do you think it's there to protect? I think it's there to protect women teachers. In all honesty, that's the way. Those stories have popped up and ramped up dramatically over the past 2-3 years. It's pretty much once a month you find out some teacher gets tagged for, some female teacher typically gets tagged for banging like a 14, 15-year-old boy. And that I wonder if that's why they had set it up that way. Because, teachers in the public school system aren't always old. And there's lots of new ones coming in. They come in around the age of 24 years old with a bachelor's degree in education. And then they, a 24-year-old teacher doesn't look that bad to a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? So I think that might have something to do with it, but I don't know. I haven't talked about it too much though, because I want to get some more accurate info on it and really look into it. Lost Bullets says, when a man loves a woman in lemon voice. Wait, am I supposed to do that now? I don't want to do that on the show. I did that in the live chat Wednesday. I did that then. Bad Vibe says, have you seen the Chris Cuomo phone leak? Lolworthy. No,
I haven't.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. I'm supposed to do it on the show. I'll do it a little bit later. Okay. I'll do it a little bit later. Just hang around. I wonder what the Chris Cuomo phone link is.
I don't know now. That's gotta be God, man. See, these days, one thing I can say is it seems like there's so much weird or interesting or infuriating shit that's going on. I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah, well, this is weird. Apparently, like Micah Curtis is calling me something, and I don't know what's going on with that. I genuinely have no idea. I didn't know that I was beefing with Micah Curtis, but
I didn't know that either. It's hilarious.
oh my God,
it's I can't keep up, man. That's what comics is a weird place. I don't.
Everything's weird. I was so when we were driving back from Florida, we took a pit stop at Doug to Naples' house, and my kids got to hang out with his kids and stuff, and we just had a nice little break from driving for a little bit. And you know, I was just talking to him about how hard it is to try and keep up with any of this. Like for a while, I was keeping up with the Comicsgate thread on Kiwi Farms, and it was like, it's just moving pages and pages a day and these like long posts. I'm like, okay, I can't keep up with this. And then something happened with Ethan Ralph. He allegedly, somebody, I don't know who it was, but I'm guessing it was Ralph, released a sex tape. And then that, you know, his thread exploded. And then I'm trying to like read all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't have time in the day to follow up with all of this. And I think people get a weird sort of idea of how much, you know, we Z-list E-celebs or whatever have. I think they get a weird idea of how much interaction we have with each other. Because, yeah. I mean, I consider you a buddy. You've never done anything terrible to me, but we don't talk very often. You know, we don't
talk very much at all. I don't talk to almost anyone online. You know, it's just maybe you'll strike me, maybe the mood will strike me and I'll talk to people, but that's nothing against anyone. It's just, I don't know. We know each other because of this. If we're going to talk, we come on here and we usually talk, but
right. And I get like accused of all this weird stuff, like covering for Dick Masterson or gunt guarding for Ethan Ralph. I'm like, what do you guys think goes on? Like, how much time do you think we have during the day to do this stuff? It's crazy. I genuinely can't. Like between preparing for shows and videos and stuff, it's like that eats up most of my day. The rest of it is, you know, my family and making sure my kids have dinner and that I get to spend time with them. Like there's just no time for any of that stuff.
With the drama I'm supposedly involved in. I don't even know what I'm supposedly involved in. I do like my internet lore. It is pretty interesting when I hear it. But
well, we've got a Memology is in the chat as well. And he said not even he can keep up. And that's, you know, that's what a lot of what he does. Of course, he's also running Memology News as well.
Memology, by the way, you know, I'll say when something big comes up and it hits one of us, like I didn't know him from anyone, and he covered some craziness that was going on with me, and I appreciated the hell out of it, you know. So Memology does that. He keeps up, but I can't keep up with I can't even keep up with what like I said, I'm supposedly involved with certain hashtags or anything. I can't. And in fact, after a while, you're just like, oh, I can't look at this anymore. I got to go do something else.
Yeah. Memology, if people don't know, he did open a news channel on Twitter that I believe is less memey and more newsy. So make sure you go check it out. That guy was able to get like a ridiculous amount of followers on that account really fast. So, you know, he's doing something right.
Well, he's one of the you know, he doesn't, I get the feeling, again, I can't speak for him because I don't know him at all, but I get the feeling that he doesn't give a fuck what people will try to censor or do. You know, he's just covering items out there that no one else is throwing out on YouTube. That's a dangerous walk, but he just seems to say, fuck it, I'll do what I want. I like it.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude. Okay. The Bad Vibe says, see Twitter DM for the link. Well, I'll check it. Let's check it out real quick, or I will check it out real quick. Leak. I keep saying link. I'm supposed to check it for the Chris Cuomo leak. Where is it? Here it is. Chris Cuomo Me Too's himself on leaked phone call. Oh my God. Let me see how long this is. Oh, no. This is like an hour-long video from Crowder. I can't... I'll have to check it out later. We're not going to do that live on the show.
Yeah, live. Let's watch this other person's stuff so I can figure it out. Woo.
Yeah. I don't like doing that too much. Yes, I've got Siren Jag's DMs, and when we get to the Sophie topic, we'll talk about it. You know what's sad? I want to address this real quick because I saw it in the chat and it made me frustrated and sad a little bit. But someone said, "Oh, okay, I'm out," when we started talking about the Sophie topic, and he said because because your shows always seem to go to this, and it's like, well, I can't help it that I care when children are being abused, right?
You're that like I'm a father too, man. I have 2 little girls in my home, and when I see this stuff, somebody's asking for our help, and we cover the dumbest shit sometimes. I cover celebrity news and stuff. That to me that matters, and I realize it's a difficult subject too, and if you don't want to care, that's your business. But I can't help it, man.
Yeah, it's I don't want to engage the subject matter either, really. Like, I would prefer all kids are just safe. That would be such a better outcome. But I'm a dad. We were foster parents for a while. My family has been, Lady Rackets' family mostly has been involved in foster care for decades and decades and decades. And so I've seen it from all these different places. I represent a few people in family law. I try not to because I hate it. But the reality is that the abuse of kids is more widespread than anybody realizes. Even people who say stuff like what I just said. It's bigger than what I realize. It's bigger than what any government realizes. It's bigger than what any social program realizes. It's everywhere, and it's really devastating. And the damage that's done to these kids from the abuse it's monumental, or it can be. And if we keep sweeping it under the rug and ignoring it because it's very uncomfortable, and it is very uncomfortable, then we're doing these kids a disservice as adults. And one just final point about it is YouTube. Just so you guys know, like, anytime I do a video about that subject, like I did a video about the Sophie thing, and the video that I did about Sophie doesn't really talk about the abuse all that much. I was mostly just yelling at the judge. YouTube not only demonetized it, but it's the algorithm does not distribute that content because of the subject matter. So I know that it's an uncomfortable thing to encounter, but there are major organizations that sweep the huge problem under the rug, and they just, no one wants to talk about it, and it's really frustrating. And again, I don't care about it getting demonetized. Like, that is literally not, it's a couple dollars in ad revenue at the end of the day. What I care about is that it's not distributed, and the views are much smaller on those videos when they do that. So it sucks. Because it's like you're trying to get a message out about this little girl in trouble, and YouTube, the platform where you and I at least have probably the most say in our lives, doesn't support having that message go out. That pisses me off.
Well, if people look at, again, you're talking about it from a law aspect. From myself, I gave up mental health there because I couldn't do that stuff anymore. I worked with offenders at one time. The reality is, for offenders, when I say that, I didn't try to make offenders better. I kept them watched. That's they beat the system a lot more than I'm sure but I would see them, and if somebody signs off on them, well, hey, they go on a registry. Great. That's not doing anything. And yeah, the offense rate goes up to, I think the reoffense rate is almost 80%. 20%, it's like 17 point something percent, no matter what. If an offender goes out, they're going to reoffend 17% no matter what statistically. And that's frightening. But I worked with them for a while until some horrible cases with that. I just I don't know. I couldn't,
there's not enough
beat some people to death, you know, but I work with child victims, and
yeah.
I couldn't do that either. But it's important there when I see that again.
Well,
somebody failed that child.
There's not enough liquor.
There
really isn't, because and that's why I don't do family law. Not even the abuse stuff. Just in a regular family law case where you've got any custody dispute, the kids become pawns in the game. How much money can so-and-so get out of, can mom get out of dad, or what can dad leverage with the kids' schooling over mom and stuff like that. And it's like, God damn it, I can't take it. That's why I don't like doing it. And again, most of the time we're not talking about in the case, in just your average divorce case, you're not talking about the kids being specifically abused. You're just talking about them being a tool for the parents to fight. And that alone is again, there's not enough liquor. You'll die trying to ignore that shit. So that's why I don't like to do it. That's why I hate I hate the family law system. I'll never stop saying it. But okay, we've got to get to the real meat here. And this is your crimes. I was reached out to by an individual who goes by the name of Thomas Royloop. And there are some people who are annoyed that I'm talking about this. And that's okay. I don't really care about that. Them being annoyed. I find it funny that it bothers them so much. But Thomas sent me a DM asking me about some copyright stuff, and I'm happy to field those questions when I see them. And if you ever send me one and I don't answer, those are ones that I typically will try and answer for you. If you ever send me one and I don't answer, please just send it again. I probably just lost a notification. But anyway, so he sent that, but then he said something about, like, why would anyone side with someone who false flags content? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. And then, and I thought he was talking about Liam, because that was the copyright issue, was between him and Liam or whatever. But then he brought up you as a doxer. And he says that,
how does that fit into fox flagging, first of all? Like,
it was false flaggers and doxers. Apparently, everybody I know and all of my friends are false flaggers and doxers. And so then he said that, although he said that I don't like you anymore. And I was like, well, I like Tug just fine. I don't even know where that came from.
People assume if you don't come on the show every couple of months or something that there's some kind of beefing or animosity. I see that a lot. I've heard that before. My God, you and Rekieta must have had a falling out over X. I'm like, well, what? We never had any disagreement.
I mean, you didn't make me an omelet on Thursday, but
Son of a bitch, I forgot.
Other than that, I don't know. But I was like, okay, I don't know where that was coming from. Like, well, I mean. And then I thought about it. I was like, I haven't had Tug on the show in a while. I wonder if it's just some residual thing. But at this point, I legitimately don't know, because the guy's kind of a weirdo, which isn't a bad thing. Like, being a weirdo is fine. My kid today I said something was weird, and I was like, like you. And he's like, hey. And I said, what's wrong with being weird? I would rather be weird than normal, personally.
It depends on what kind of weirdo you are. Like the specific weirdo. This is not coming from Rekieta. I'm saying these things.
Oh no! A disclaimer.
Yeah, I just figure, when that guy talks about like your kids and new live streams are my children more than an active pedophile, I think, yeah, maybe he's not the kind of weirdo I want to know.
Woo, yeah. That is a type of weirdo that is maybe uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I use the word weirdo, I usually, if I'm using it in a negative context, whoa, I mean, this is the norm right here. Sitting around doing this shit.
I usually use weirdo in like a loving, light reprieve, like a light reprimand. Like, oh, stop being a weirdo, like that. That's how I normally use it because, well, in this case, I was like, I called him a weirdo because it's like, why are you obsessed with this type of stuff? And I think I said, why are you allergic to being likable? Because I don't understand. I didn't have a problem with this guy that I knew of. I mean, I must now, I guess, but I don't know what sparked this. But yeah, so anyway, so he said, I'm like my friends. Oh, and then he threatened to do a video on me, which I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. And how I'm friends with false flaggers and doxers like you. Especially once I said that I was, that no, I like Tug just fine. He's like, oh, it's good to know that you associate with a doxer. So Tug, you have been accused of the high crime of doxing on the internet. And how do you plead, sir?
I'd like to know who I doxed first, but
look, I don't have those
and I plead
details.
whatever. Who gives you shit?
I legitimately don't know because again, I can't follow the drama. So apparently, you have doxed somebody. So you just have to. Well,
I've been accused of.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm approaching this wrong. Okay. Did you just mitigated and deflected that? How many people have you doxed? You're like, oh, well, which one?
Two that I've been accused of that I know of. But my God, what I'm getting accused of this week, I watched a video on me a couple of months ago that talked about me being internationally wanted, which I thought that's cool. That's pretty awesome. And then some kind of predator. I was like, well, that's not really awesome. And apparently I have something about making furniture in the background in my daytimes. I was like, what the fuck is this about? So I don't even know. I have a cool lore, but I don't know who I.
So you don't make furniture in the daytime?
Apparently that's what certain there's a fun video out there. I'm gonna plug this channel so you can go laugh at it a lot. But Comic Book Hut, he's done a mini expose. He did a great exposed. In fact, he was so good at it that he was like, that umbrella guy exposed, and he put the guy who made my mask that I wore for the conventions. He put his picture on the front of it. Yeah, I was like, dude, you're probably gonna get some hate, but you might want to take that picture down because people may think you're me. And
jeez, man. So that guy, how'd he do? How'd he take that? Was he okay with it?
He was okay with it. Like he was good with it. But there's so online, anytime there's all kinds of shit like this that come up. People harassed when the Vic stuff was going on. That umbrella guy online, I'm that umbrella. People will text that umbrella guy, he's a food critic. So they'll harass him at Tug. That guy, he went nuts about it one time, because he was like, what the fuck are people talking about? They even harassed a tugboat captain, like no joke.
An actual tug.
Yeah,
oh, God, that makes me happy.
I've never had to. I feel bad for those people. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. These people are bothering you. They're talking about me, and I apologize. I try to redirect them my way because who cares? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If you want to insult the way I talk, what I do online, you want to call me I don't give a shit. I don't care. I literally don't care. Do what you want. Write a book about me. That's awesome. Maybe you can make money on it. Monetize.
Now, we have to get back to the subject, though. How do you plead to doxing in the first degree?
I plead not guilty because I understand doxing is going out and fishing out somebody's personal information that's not easily found. I've been accused of that with, I can't remember that weirdo's name that, was saying, hey, here's how you contact CPS and stuff. And I was like, dude, would you say that if I knew who you were? He said, right. Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, I know where you live. Fuck you. I can send the police out to you if you'd like that. That was called doxing. I don't think that's doxing.
Who is that guy?
That's that Zach Viana weirdo.
Oh, that Zach Viana guy. That guy sucks.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. If I were going to dox you, let's just say hypothetical. If I want to dox you, I may be a boomer at a lot of things, but I'm really good at finding certain things about jackass, or people will share it with me. If I wanted to dox some people, I wouldn't dance around it. I wouldn't fucking open up a sock account and do it. I would put you on blast like a Keemstar, and I would put a price tag on your ass. I would do it, and I would monetize it. You know.
Wait a
I mean,
minute. I feel like I'm the judge here, and you just tried to threaten, extort, and blackmail me with a doxing thing. So that's a point against
I don't
you.
know how to dox you anymore.
It'll the interesting thing for me is the concern. Just aside from anything, it's the concern trolling on my response to other people doxing, because here's my perspective on it. I don't care what other people do. I don't think people should dox other people. There you go. I don't think that. At the same time, I know that this is the internet and that doxing is relatively legal. Outside of some specific things, it's a legal act. That doesn't make it desirable, but at the end of the day, I'm probably going to be doxxed at some point. Some of the stuff that's out about me is likely considered doxing, and unfortunately, that's just the internet we're on these days. Like, you just have to, that's a part of it. And so when someone comes up and they're like, well, so-and-so doxed someone, I'm like, okay, go talk to them. What do I have to do with it? I don't care.
Because they've tried everything else. Like this group of people here, like there's a live stream. You should go look it up. Like I play for the beginning of all my streams. Well, not every stream, but a lot of times I'll play a clip where someone legitly contacted my mayor here. They contacted the police department, our DA. Legitly, they did a live stream and bragged about it, talked about it. It's a fun, fascinating look.
Can you imagine? Mayor, I have to report an internet crime. What? Have you heard of that umbrella guy? No, I'm the mayor of a city. Like, what the hell is that?
I was just like, you know how weird it is to call. I was trying to figure out if this stuff was real, so I called our DA to see if it was. That is the weirdest conversation. Did you have any reports of? So I use the YouTube name, and I use my name because my name's out there too. And yeah, they literally did. The DA, I talked to the investigator. He laughed a little bit. He was like, "We're not going to open a case at this time." I was like, "Oh shit." Am I really having this conversation with people? But it is disturbing. So when I talked to the police officer, I was like, is this real? So I went down to we live in a small town, like I said. Our police setup, it's like really attached to the jail. I know some of the people that are there. So I went out, I talked to the guy. And he
knows him because he spends so much time in jail for his furniture business.
But I talked to the police officer there, and he said, yeah, one of these people, when they were standing here telling me about that, I was like, wait a minute, standing here? You mean they came here?
They showed up.
And he said, yeah. Now, again, I don't know. They didn't take it seriously enough to produce any documentation or anything. They didn't. But
that's what the
cop told me. So
you look at the news about police resources and stuff like that, and you see that in some cities, now maybe not in your city, maybe not in mine, but in some cities, they're having to not, out in LA, for example, they're not prosecuting theft under $1,000. So you can go steal, like, in theory, you could go to Walmart and steal a $600 Samsung TV and then, run out. And then the next day, go back and do it again. And never actually get prosecuted because they're just not doing it. They don't have the resources to do it. You see this stuff where response times in some cities are increasing. Even for stuff like that's critical, like domestic violence, active shooter situations, response times are going up. And in some cases, they won't respond to things like burglaries for a couple days because, well, you're not actively in danger and they've got other stuff to deal with. And then you think about, like, you juxtapose that reality with the idea that you come in, you're like, I hope there's a man in your town who speaks on the internet and he says things that I don't like. And they're going,
They say crazy shit though. There was this, you know, got a few screenshots. I kept them because I was like, what the fuck? And I did video. I'll monetize you. These people don't like it because if you want to fuck with me, I will monetize you and I will fucking market you as a harass. I'll put a price tag on you. And they don't like that. Well, fuck you. Don't mess with me then. Never mess with me. You know? I mean, that's right. I'm saying it openly. If you fuck with me, I will monetize you. But one of these people was talking about this is the literal screenshot. I'm reading it here. Oh yeah, and Tug knows all about the disappearances. After all, people have been going missing on family property he currently resides at. There's a report at my prosecutor's office. Okay, well, I was like, are they calling the cops and saying people are dying because they're calling them on my grandfather's property? I'm like, my grandfather, you go out to his property, the police, he'll shoot it out with you. He's old and he's crazy.
yeah.
So I had concern about that. You know, I was like, I can laugh all of that off, but I needed to make sure that, you know, that situation didn't happen. Luckily it didn't happen. You know, we didn't have any problem with it. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, man.
So how many people have you disappeared from a property?
Ooh, I don't know.
Last count. Just last count. I'm not auditing here.
3 to 6. Not auditing. Well, my grandfather, he's in the tree growing. You know, if I say nursery business, people are like, "Oh my God, he raises kids." No trees. He owns about 1,500 to 1,700 acres that are just in one area, and then he owns all over the place. So that area,
you couldn't have disappeared Renfamous on that property. It's not big enough.
Yeah, when Google Maps does a flyover, they're like, "What the hell is that little mountain?"
Oh my goodness. But okay, so this is the thing, and again, like obviously we're joking. I'm not. Let me be honest. If you dox someone on the internet, I don't really care like that. Let me say this. I don't think you should, Tug. Please don't dox anybody. But at the same time, like, what am I? I'm just, I'm a guy online, just like you, right? Like, if I did something horrifying, you'd probably laugh at it and monetize it, like, and you should. But what would that have to do with you?
Well, these folks, though, I'll tell you my theory on why this happens is because I've had success with indie comics. One of the things that you have to trust in indie comics is that I'm the only one that'll have it. If you back my comic's out, by the way, back it. No, but if you back it, you have to trust me with your information. I'm the only person that has access to it. So saying that I'm a doxer is trying to harm my business. That's trying to cost me money because they've tried everything else. Like, what else can you do? You know, after you tried the DA, after you tried all of this other stuff, you've tried videos online and no one gives a shit. I mean, I only have around 100,000 subscribers, about 98 something. So if
you're closing
videos on me all the time, you're not going to get that much clout. Sorry to say, not a lot of clout there. So.
Well, damn, you'll get even less from me. Especially today, I released a video on the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, the guy in Kenosha, and I lost, like, from that video. Apparently, it pissed a bunch of people off. I lost like 75 subscribers from that one, and it doesn't feel like the same as a YouTube. Sometimes I'll go through a period where YouTube will just kind of dock me some subscribers for every video. Yeah. I don't think I'm in one of those. I think this is organic. I really pissed people off, apparently.
Well, I did a video. I usually don't do anything political, and I did I was laughing at Antifa because of the Teespring thing, where Teespring called them out, and I lost 21 subscribers. I was thinking, if you think I'm back at you probably haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. That's what at first I was like, what the hell, man? People are really pissed off about this video. And then I was like, well, I mean, that was a temporary proposition. If they're mad about this, I mean, they were not going to last as subscribers anyway. So it's not that big of a deal.
Fickle beast, though. It is. People are fickle. And, hey, like I said, I am legitimately happy that you show up. I appreciate. I say every video I close with that. It's your prerogative if you want to go away. It's not my prerogative not to have opinions, though. I can have them. And that's why I got on the internet in the first place, so I could go out. I wanted to bitch about something, bitch about nerd somethings, and yeah, I mean, if that makes you mad, well, I hate it for you, but it's not going to change.
I just I want my whole thing is like this'll sound super gay or whatever, but I don't want people to be mad so much as I want them to be entertained. Now sometimes the line between madness and entertainment is pretty blurry. Like you can be pissed off and entertained at the same time. But the one thing I don't like about people reactionary unsubscribing after a video, and I don't do this to channels that I watch either because of this, is like, well, if something pissed you off, like, didn't that engage you a little bit? And don't you want to see like what about it pissed you off? And don't you want to find out if you're still going to be pissed off at the next thing too? Like, I don't want a sycophantic like YouTuber, right? I don't want a guy who just agrees with me. I want to be stretched a little bit, but mostly I want to laugh. So that's what I always hope for. And if people can't laugh, like one of the jokes in the video was that what was it? It was something about Jacob Blake. I was going to say Jacob Blake's alive and kicking, because one of the people was talking about the people who died in Kenosha, and he said, we have 3 bodies. And I was like, wait, 3? Only 2 people got killed. And someone had said, well, no, Jacob Blake. I was like, but Jacob Blake's still alive. And I said, he's alive and kicking. No, wait, he's not kicking. He's paralyzed. I have irreverent jokes in the streams, but I hope they.
That's who you. I mean, I don't know. That's who we are. I mean, all of us. We tell jokes. We fuck off. I mean, again,
because the world's too goddamn depressing. If we don't,
yeah, it would drive you nuts. Like these subjects will. Am I supposed to be pissed off all the time when I'm covering this stuff? That's
yeah. What that's a tough thing to do. Like I was telling you a little bit before the stream, but we had a pipe burst while we were gone. And I had today was spent talking to insurance adjusters and then contractors to mitigate the water damage. And then they started talking to me about all the stuff that they have to do because you can't have water in like insulation. You can't have water in carpet pads. You can't have water in wooden floors. And I've got all of those problems because it spanned a couple, 2 levels of the house. And so I'm talking to this guy and he's talking about how I've got these loud ass things right outside my door, a fan and a dehumidifier. Upstairs, there are these fans just blowing the whole time, and it's loud and horrible. And it's like, I'm pissed off just by existing right now. Like, I'm going to come on my show and have some levity. Right. That's because otherwise I'm going to be pissed off for 24 hours a day. And, oh my God.
Well, I've said that with, this is my way, like live streams especially, are my way to blow off steam. Like this area is separate from everything. My little girl may come down here to watch TV. I have a TV down here and stuff in the daytime, right. But normally this is just my area, and any anger or frustration about this shit, I let it go and I don't take it around. I don't want it around my kids. I don't want it around my wife. It's its own thing. I want to compartmentalize it, and because otherwise you'd just be a horrible person to be around all the time.
Yeah. What else did I wanted to talk to you. You mentioned something prior to the stream that I wasn't aware of, and it's related to all of this, I think. But one, I've got to mention, hold on, I need my gavel. For the crime of doxing, guilty. You put up a shitty defense, Tug. You're guilty as hell. Just
oh no, my wife.
Yeah. Now I sentence you to tell me the story of how I'm going to apparently beat my children. You're talking.
Okay. Now I've got to. I want to be fair about this. These clowns, the SWC clown. First of all, too, just as an aside, there, it is interesting to be accused of doxing by people that spend all day on the farms doxing people. I thought that was really weird. I saw a screenshot a while back from an account there, and it pretty much admitted that it was one of the SWC guys. These guys accusing people of doxing, and it does a lot of doxing. So again. You got your free speech rights, but it's very fascinating there. But along the way, they did a fascinating little stream yesterday in which they apparently do not like you for not coming out and denouncing me. Although that gavel, man, it hurt me in the feels.
Look, I have to be an impartial judge. And I mean,
you're saying I didn't super chat enough. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Now the grift is real. The grift is real, so to speak. And yeah, I haven't seen any hundos from you lately, Tug. So
grifting usually implies like small time, everything. If you basically can put anybody on the internet on trial and they have to pay you off, you're not small time. You need a new word, new descriptor.
Hello, Tug. Why are you here? Trying to impact my title, King Grifter. It hurts me very deeply. Okay, but no. Let's get back to this because you told me about it, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's crazy.
Yeah, so they went on a live stream talking about one of your you were either venting or angry about something, and then after that, they were saying, I wonder, like is Nick? I wonder how fast it'll take Nick to go out again. I'm paraphrasing, to go and beat his kids after this, and then they were talking about you murdering your family. I think Chris Cuomoing your family, or I don't. I was like, what? And then just other things in there. And like I said, these guys, that's the same thing they did with my kid. They talked about murder and rape associated with my 5-year-old. Like I say, that's weird. And not in a good, you're a weirdo kind of friendly Nick Rekieta, statement way. That's that's fixating on something, again, more than probably your active pedophile out there. Stop fixating on kids, weirdo.
It's well, that one's strange. I don't know why anything on the internet would make me want to beat my children, unless they were on the internet causing it. I guess is that theoretically.
You have so much anger that you're like, oh, I can't leave this here. I'm gonna go rampage around my house. They're like a not entertaining version of Mad Black, like Mad Black at least is like, we're gonna do what your kids need to learn how to duck, that was at least funny. I mean, it was weird, but it was funny.
Yeah, he was pretty. I mean, at least he's creative.
Right? Yeah. He's talking about crossbowing people in the knees and shit. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Roll by on the rascal.
See, that was fun times. This is, if they could work on the levity, maybe they could. I don't know. Maybe they could push it up. But again, it's that whole thing you were talking about before, being unlikable. If you're unlikable, you come off like not just an unlikable asshole to everyone. Everyone's like, yeah, let's throw rocks at that asshole and ruin them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's who you want to be, awesome, but
that's the weird thing. I try to have as just a practice, because I think this is what gets me in trouble, is that as a practice, I just try to cultivate at least neutral, if not friendly, relationships online with people, with other YouTubers, with other online personalities. And I don't really care about like sub counts or anything like that. It's just, I try to do a thing where for the most part, I'm open to having people on my show. I'm open to going on shows. It's all about scheduling and topics. That's it for me. Can we schedule something into my absolute chaotic life? And then, is there a topic that at least I'm interested in, and I hope that my audience will be interested in too? And if so, I'm generally fine. And I don't even care, like, if there's a little bit of if someone said something about me. But then like when people go out of the way to go like hard in the paint on me, and I'm like, why though? Like, what did I do to you? And the usual answer is that I didn't do something, but you did. You specifically, Tug. No. It's not just you.
I hear,
But
hey, you know,
it's like you or you are recent. This has really been the only one with you. Is I'm being hyperbolic and making jokes. But you know, it's like, well, Dick Masterson this, or Josh from Kiwi Farms that, and I'm like, well, what the? I mean, I find them interesting. I'm friendly with them because, you know, I just try to be friendly with everybody. I don't have time to like hate people for no reason. So it just blows my mind. I don't understand why people are like this.
I don't get that. What, like, some people that you get along with and such, I won't throw them in there. I've had problems with here and there, and that's not your business. I don't ever expect you. In fact, I don't want it to be my business most of the time. I'm like, oh my God, you know, really, this was something happened one time, and therefore you had to be like, the problem with internet shit especially is there's no way to stop. Like, it never stops. Like, in real life, if you ran across someone in there, it would probably just end. You might have some harsh words. Either that, or you fucking go your own way. You never see each other again. Online, beefing never ends, you know?
Well, and that's the other thing is, like, it's easier to just talk to a person less or not engage them than to like get into some sort of spit fight with them, because it's not a slap fight. We're online. We're hundreds of miles away generally from anybody else on the internet. But so it's just a weird sort of practice. And what I don't get, and maybe you can help me out with this, have you been following Comicsgate and Anti-Comicsgate lately? I lost track.
I do to a degree. The whole point in comics, again, I love certain comics. They're great people. Nothing meant by any of this, but the whole point in this was to say we can make if we're complaining about stuff. First of all, it was shitty products, lack of professionalism. Okay, so when I go out, again, I'm human. I fuck up, but I've tried, especially in the last year, I have tried engaging by not engaging, being professional about. Again, I'm going to argue with people. Sometimes I'm human in that, but I don't want to be the clown car version of Marvel. So I don't know. The drama stuff, it's so small. There's no payoff to a lot of it. Like, it doesn't make me feel better about myself. People, I could slap them down, you know, verbally. Oh, all right. But no, I don't. I keep up with it in broad strokes, but I don't keep up with the minutia, the drama. I've been so disconnected. I didn't get into it to indie pros out there. Many of them are literally taking a comic and, you know, turning that into food for their families and shit. And if I make videos about them or something, I'm taking that away. I don't want to be that person. So I'm trying. You know, I've failed sometimes, but I'm trying not to be that person.
Right. And well, there's a true gem of the internet in the chat right now. And this is a shout out, not a call out. Mr. Dongs. When I was following the Comic-Gate drama, he is a chronicler and cataloger, and he does a really good job. And actually, his posts were like really informative in going through and trying to follow the mess. But you know, there are people out there who follow this and are really good at it. And I rely mostly on their summaries because I don't have time to do it. You know, it's dumb. Content creation takes a monumental amount more time than I ever wanted to spend doing anything.
Right.
Because I was thinking when I stopped doing primarily stopped doing law stuff and started doing the internet stuff, that I would be home and available around the house more and stuff like that. And I am, because I'm here. But at the same time, like, Lady Rackets is like, you know, for a while it was like, oh, you're on your phone again. I'm like, I have to be on my phone all day. I have to be following this all day long just to keep up. and I can't do it. So that's the weird thing I think about, like guys like you, me, even Flash, where we have dipped our toes into these various communities. And then when you step away from them for a while, like what goes on in those communities changes dramatically, and you just can't keep up. If you're trying to keep up with more than one thing, it's a losing game.
I would rather watch paint dry than keep up with some of the stuff that goes on. I mean, it's like I said, I support the efforts of many a creator out there. I like people on both sides of fights, just like you're talking about. But
Yeah.
I don't want to keep up with some of that stuff. We're specifically talking about a comics game. That used to be a label that was put on you. In 2017, I talked about IDW stock reports. Ooh, juicy stuff. I'm telling you, numbers. But they got me labeled.
Yeah.
And that now, I think when you get to that point where the comic industry is collapsing, I mean, it is falling apart right before our eyes. You have people that are able to crowdfund. They're doing that successfully with who do they fight? People want to fight. Well, again, it's the internet. It's easy. It's it loses focus sometimes. I still think it's important, but
yeah. Well, that's one thing that I had said last year during last year or the year before. I don't even remember anymore. I lose track of how long I've been doing this. But there was, I had a discussion with Ethan, and I think it was when he and Doug had their main spat, and it was I think I gave roughly the same advice to both of them. I was like, stop this, like just stop this fight, because I don't even care what who's right, who's wrong. It doesn't really matter. Like, stop the fight, because this is just implosion stuff. And then from that point on, at least in my opinion, and it probably started before that, I don't know, but I see like, the Comicsgate will just every so often have this implosion of drama. And it's because there's a mix of people who want to sell a book. And then there's a mix of people who want to be a community, and that community has its just internal policing kind of naturally that goes on. And that it's like that balance, or not that balance, but that those two parties kind of end up clashing and exploding. But then I heard the other day that the anti-Comicsgate, which is, like, I think this Thomas Royloop or whatever, is probably considered anti-Comicsgate. I think. I don't know. Is that accurate? Do you know?
Yeah, that would be accurate.
I heard that they're having like little infighting too.
They had one of their this was funny. So one of the people that was connected with all of that turned out to be one of the largest TV scammers in Australia history. And that it's led to, after that discovery, it's led to a lot of infighting. I mean, it's
Wait,
insane.
who?
It's almost, I feel like I watch a soap opera someday.
Wait, so who is the scammer?
I've got to look his name up again. He went under the name of Zombie Nomicon, but I need to look up his real name. But he ran a show, like he presented rather, and got money for a TV show about going into space. It turned out to be this gigantic scam, like a huge scam. And he was disbarred for stealing money in Australia, just a bunch of other shit. He was a huge scammer in the past. And after that happened, again, there was this implosion of internal bullshit, and it's just kept rolling. And it's funny to watch. I mean, I watch it from time to time, but it's hard for me to care. But yeah, they've been eating each other doing that. So
that's and it's such a weird thing. That's the one thing, like, that always blew my mind, because I saw Comicsgate, and I once described it to a friend who was not involved in any of this way. I said, what if I told you could, how would you feel about this business prospect? It's a business that in its second year is generating between $3 to $5 million in annual revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And the total cost to purchase every product for any particular consumer that you have access to is annually like $500 to $600. And he's like, that sounds like a great business. And I was like, well, that's what Comicsgate is like, you could go in at like kind of the gold, I don't want to call it the golden age. It's not really that old, but in 2018 and then going into 2019, like you could go and you could back every project on Comicsgate for about $600 at the entry level. And it was generating like $3 million plus in revenue for the number of creators. And there's no, and the other thing is there's no inventory, there's no storefront, and there's really little overhead in general. And so I saw this thing and I'm like, this is a gold mine. And all people have to do is just print money. Like that's it. You just make books and cultivate customer service and print money. And then like that it just couldn't happen. It couldn't stay that way. I was like, why? Why does it have to be anything other than just printing money? It was the weirdest thing for me.
Man, well, you know, you have this. It's a very, if we're loosely confederated at all, that would be. I think that's even overstepping. There are a lot of people, you know, they sell something or they fly that flag, and yeah, if I know them, that I don't communicate with them, or some people I don't like. The thing is that if people wanted that thing to continue, or if they want it to continue, then they need to remember why it happened. They need to remember not to be that thing. You know, like I said, I've been trying to take mental inventory of that. I run a YouTube channel. You know, I'm going to piss some people off, but I don't want to spit in the face of a consumer. I don't want to insult them. Again, I'm a nobody in comics. I'm just some dude sitting in my basement right now talking, getting drunk, talking to somebody. Shit. But with 2 comic books, we've made $250,000. You know, again,
congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. You know,
yeah, you've been doing fantastic with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and this second one, maybe people think there's drama because I with this comic, I have not asked people to go on channels. I thought, hey, I got a channel here. Let's go on it. Let's promote that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe people think there's drama there. Oh my God, Tug hasn't been going on this channel or that channel to promote.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Should we talk about it now? You haven't asked me, but should we talk about it a little bit?
It's I have a comic book. There's probably somebody can put a link in the description. I make comics with my. I did this. I have when I started 5-year-old daughter. Now she's 6. She got to do her first cover with this, and I work with just a creative mastermind, S.K. Bennett. I can't say enough about him. You look that up. I mean, if you want to back it, awesome. If you hate the idea of it, awesome. You know, but we're trying to do our own thing in comics.
Yeah, and it's really great. And I did want to congratulate you because you've been killing it on the funding, and I love to see people make stuff. And the cool thing about kind of the internet is it expands your marketing without, or not your marketing, your market. It expands your market globally without having to really put much into getting a message out globally, right? Like we have the ability to just put something out, and then because it's YouTube, we have just a naturally global audience. And so the crazy thing about it, and this is what I think some people might miss, is that, for example, if I was making something and someone said, oh, that's a pile of garbage, and I don't want it, I'd go, okay, like that's fine, because there's somebody else who might. And there's a huge market. That's what a YouTube channel in general is, right? It's like you don't have to be PewDiePie to run a YouTube channel as a business. You just have to have enough support for whatever you want to do. And so it gives us some freedom and some opportunities to say things that might piss off some people, or might it gives us a little leeway in failing because the market is so big and we have access to all of it that we can do it. So
And also, we don't have a franchise. Like, I don't have a Batman to fall back on. I'm selling it off of me. So that's what the comic industry forgot. These people, they don't make money because they're totally fucking unlikable. So when you go on, say, a Twitter, you interact with them, you don't want to buy their product. We literally have to be the opposite of that. That's what we're trying to gauge. And like you said, it's worldwide. I mean, it's been fun too. I enjoy that aspect. And like I've met great creators. Ethan was a creator that I liked in DC. I enjoy him online. I think he's fun. I know that certain people don't like him. That's your prerogative. But I personally, I don't have any problem with him. I don't have any problem with a lot of people out there. I enjoy their personas, and they're doing something right. I mean, you're dropping $1 million on getting a campaign. They're doing something. There are people that are connecting to that message, whatever they're putting out.
Yeah. I agree. And it's it's all like, that's the amazing thing. And that would be my encouragement to other people out there. Is like, if you don't like a product or a person, like, that's okay. You don't have to, and you certainly don't have to buy them. I would just say, don't waste your time harassing that person or bothering them, because you're wasting your time. And all they're actually doing, for the most part, is going to be just moving on from like, if you've moved on from them, they'll move on from you, because they're the ones trying to make money. What is that? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I'm in the middle of an interview, so I love you, lady.
That's how my live streams go, except usually, like your kid interruptions, that's how mine are. I have my daughter, my daughter will come in and do like the Jason Voorhees thing behind me. It's creepy, but it's funny.
Yeah. Like, stop. What you gotta do is get her a ukulele and teach her to do the Michael Myers, like, ding, 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 ding. That'd be good.
Probably get a job with Marvel. I don't know if you've seen that guy. Flash plays on the beginning of all of his live streams. He plays the ukulele.
Oh God, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I was like, man, he should write Flash a check, because Flash probably giving him a couple thousand subscribers playing that shit. Doom Guy sent a thing. I missed this one. It was like an hour ago. He said, if the Spurgs of Thomas Royloop, Micah Curtis, and Liam Gray are pissed at you, then you're doing something right. I don't know if Liam's pissed at me. Liam's not pissed at me. Micah, I don't have any problem with it. I know of,
Well, I heard this. I heard yesterday someone was like, Micah Curtis said that I joined the alt-right, which I didn't know there was an alt-right like club to join. But also, like, I'm probably a bad alt-righter, because I'm a dumb libertarian or whatever. So I don't know about that, but I don't know. Sometimes people come in and like try and foment drama by saying something.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. And the Liam stuff, man, I don't know. Like, I like Liam. I talk to Liam, so I don't know that there's anything going on with that either. You can, if you want drama, you can find it. If that's your cup of tea, awesome. Go have fun with it. Like I said, you were saying people walking on and people leaving each other alone. No, if you want to bother me to a point, like I said, I will slap a price tag on you and I will monetize you.
Well, to be very clear to everybody, I don't know if Micah Curtis has actually said anything about me, and if he has, that's fine. I don't have anything bad to say about him. So I'm not like engaging in drama. Thomas Royloop is apparently actually mad at me though, and that's okay.
Yeah. When he's talking about you murdering your family and shit, maybe he's a little salty.
Does he realize how much work that would be? Oh my God. I can't imagine the amount of effort that would have to go into murdering anybody.
I've learned from the ID. I actually watch a YouTube channel called That Chapter. I like them. they don't need my shout out. They're like 600,000 plus subs, but they do breakdowns of cases. And I've learned you'll never get away with it in anything. You'll never get away with it. So don't try. You're not smart enough.
It's such a mess. And my life is too, it's too good. I mean, I can complain. I can believe me. I've got a whole life of experience complaining. I can complain about shit like having a pipe break, having random damage that has to be taken care of. But at the end of the day, I got back from a long trip to Florida where my kids got to see their grandparents for a lot of time, and we all are healthy and we're alive, and there were no hospital trips. And I have children. I have been on more hospital trips than I ever wanted to in my entire life, because at some point kids just get sick and you're like, oh, they really don't look good. I guess I got to take them in. Or they fall and hit a table or something. And you're like, oh my God, they have to get stitches, or they break an arm, or whatever it is. We've had no bone breaks in our family. We're very lucky for that. But at the end of the day, none of that happened. Like, I haven't been to a hospital in months, thank God. What do I have to complain about? Like the internet? Like I have to murder my family, apparently? It's like, why would that be a thing at all?
I never thought people like yourself or myself would be considered counterculture. You know, I'm happily married. I'm in a relationship. I'm happy here. I love my family here. You know, when I complain about stuff, you know, I do. You're talking about breaking shit. Last week I got up. I was walking down some stairs and I slipped and caught a cast iron rail and broke 2 toes on Friday. I was like, what a dumbass. And, you know, you can't go to the hospital for that. They don't do anything for it.
No, they just tape it to the toe next to it. Unless it's like bent at an angle or something.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, oh, God. But hey, tape that fucker up, go around. But yeah. I mean, that was that was something to hate. But besides, no, I don't carry the internet stuff with me. I do. With some of the craziness that happened in 2019, you know, yeah, it carried over into my real life, and it's hard not to pay attention to that. But that I don't care anymore. Like, in fact, it's been better. I can operate under my real name now, and I'm known in my community as somebody that has. I mean, you know, the community's actually. Oh my God, this guy, you know, he has 100,000 people. We have more circulation than the fucking paper out here. So. Yeah.
Oh,
our mayor. So that's pretty cool too, apparently.
And your mayor knows who you are.
Actually, my mayor, he passed. Again, this isn't a pro or con statement on mask wearing, but he passed a very, very hated ordinance, a mandate that required people to wear masks. So we decided, since he didn't just placate one of these weirdos, he kind of. He's hard lib, so he kind of listened to some of the buzzwords and stuff. So I thought it was funny. We printed up our own masks with, you know, the umbrella symbol on there with our "Hey there," and we've been spreading them around. So when people go to town councils, like, people will wear them. And it's funny. You know, we get to mock him as his popularity. It goes down the toilet.
I have the opposite. Pretty much no one in my town knows what I do. Except for like people we know personally. Like, nobody knows that I have a channel or whatever. Even like other lawyers, they'll find out when I'm talking with them about something and I mention it, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I, you know, usually I don't do this. I actually just like to go on YouTube and talk about stuff." And they're like, "Oh, that's fun." Like, I bet you don't want to watch it though.
Don't want to watch it though. No, I don't care. I thought about taking out a billboard out here, you know, my small town, be like, home of that umbrella guy. That'd be hilarious. Oh, if it was cheap enough, I would do it just to fucking make people on the internet mad. It is fun. You're asking why people may hate me, because I kick that nest all the time. I can't help it. You do it sometimes too, not intentionally. Well, on here you do, I think, intentionally, but
you know, The nests that I kick are usually an accident, in all honesty.
Yeah. Oh, burying the whale out on your property. Yeah, that was an accident.
That's not kicking a nest. That's
Not
kicking
a person.
that's kicking a giant pile of garbage. No. Okay, so yeah, that stuff I do, right? When there are people out there, there are those out there who vehemently hate people like you and me. And those people will never be, there's no redemption for us in their eyes, right? Like you could cure cancer, and Renfamous would say that you were just doing it because your kid was about to be a pharmaceutical rep and you were trying to cripple your own child's income. That would be the like accusation as to why your curing cancer was a bad thing. It would have some sort of ludicrous tie back to your kid, and it would be ultimately stupid. So yeah, I'm gonna kick that nest all day because I find them funny. I find their reactions funny, but I'm talking about people who are redeemable.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who tread in the same circles that we do, and stuff like that. Like if I piss someone off, it's usually an accident or because they're misinterpreting that I'm just laughing at something and I don't really care what, like it doesn't, I don't have an underlying investment in what they did. It's mostly just that it was funny.
Like I was saying, there's no off switch for it. There actually is no let's stop this beef and just again. I've tried that with a few people. It never works. Again, I'd be willing to do that with a lot of people just because I don't care. I don't care about old drama. If you sound off on things too, you almost automatically inherit, especially with the YouTube channel, you inherit the haters of whatever person you talk about. So are those haters worth it? Sometimes I don't know, man. Some of them are really crazy.
Some of them are so damn persistent, and I'm just like at some point I'm like, how do you do this? Like honestly, how do you spend so much time focused on me? I don't even think about me that much, and I'm a narcissistic asshole. Like, so how are you able to overcome my own narcissism? That's crazy to me.
I had somebody become obsessed. I never figured out quite why, but they would go on the forums and write, just lengthy discussions, which if that's their prerogative, they can do that. But I found out like the dude doing it was, like a little person, I guess.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, there's a little person that's obsessed with me. And then they got really mad because I had a dream one night that I was going out to my mailbox and there was a garbage can by it, and they popped out of my garbage can Oscar the Grouch style and tried to kill me. Like, oh shit. And I said that online, and they well, that doesn't make you friends.
Wait, if they were a little person, they'd have a trouble popping out of your garbage can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the lid would fly off, but you wouldn't see anything because midgets are shorter than garbage cans.
Well, they posted a picture, when I went to Anime Matsuri, I had on the Voorhees type mask, and they posted a picture of themselves as Chucky, I guess saying, they could kill me. And I was like, that's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Them and the other crazy I had this big meathead. They make that, what's his name? Master Blaster from fucking Mad Max, they could who run Bartertown.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my God. What a weird world this is.
I like it sometimes. I just, again, people don't keep it on the internet. They have to one up. There's no farther way to go anymore. They can't SWAT or anything else. So I don't know. I enjoy it. I like the lore. I don't care. Say whatever you want. Add to it. Make it crazy though. Like make some really crazy shit up about me. I like it.
Have you ever seen, this is off topic, but you mentioned popping out of a garbage can. Have you ever seen the video? It was like in a high school. It was one of those prank videos on YouTube. And they were interviewing kids by a garbage can. And like someone pops up in like a monkey suit or something, goes, "Rah!" And yeah, they're interviewing the black kid or whatever. And the guy goes like, "Rah!" Just bam, just reflex jacks the guy and KOs him. Immediately he's like, "Oh shit."
Good thing they didn't do that to like adults in the South here. You'd have that same reaction, but with like a bullet.
Right? Yeah, it'd be a gun. Oh man,
We had when we had all the protests. We had in my tiny town, we had 6 people pop up in the middle of town, and they mobilized SWAT and everything for it. It was such an awesome shit show.
Wait a minute, can you say that again? Because
So
I'm
they had
thinking the liquor is impairing what I just heard, but I don't know what was that.
So when we had the protests that came up, so we had 6 people that popped up in the middle of town to protest, and everybody was so freaked out about it. They mobilized SWAT. They instituted a curfew for a couple of hours. Just crazy shit because they were expecting.
Let me tell you what just happened in my brain. We were talking about midgets popping out of garbage cans. And I thought you said you had 6 little people mobilized in your town and that they sent SWAT. I was like, we are the Munchkin Squad. Like, I thought that's what had happened. And that's why I had to have you repeat that, because I thought that can't be real. I can't.
If I could get 6 little people to protest me, like to actively be like people against that umbrella guy. Little people against
that umbrella guy.
Could I pay? I bet I could pay to have that happen. That might be fun.
You have to have you'd have to hire the cast of Death to Smoochie or whatever to follow you around complaining.
It's like great. Oh shit.
God. What the protests would be actually funny if that's what was happening. Right?
There would be, when you had this stuff come up, this shit has been crazy to watch. I watched a comic shop try to placate people while they were trying to raise money because they had been broken into. But they were talking about how, they were talking about how they were broken into. Somebody had brought professional tools, bored out the locks on their doors, and took their door off. Basically, took their doors off. I was like, "That's not a protest." Yeah. I have to look up where it was. That made headlines. They actually made quite a bit of money with that. But
so wait a minute. I'm not buying. Hold on. My insurance auditor hat has kicked on. So you're telling me there's a protest / riot where people are breaking into buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
there were 150 in this town. Like I'd have to look up the where because there's been so much crazy since then. But there were 150 businesses that sustained major damage. I don't know minor damage, but in that you had people burglarizing shit right out in the open.
Right. And so what they do is they go up to the comic book shop and they pull the door off like professionally. And then they go in and steal the comic books?
Well, they stole like high dollar merchandise that was in there, that's what they claim anyway. Now, of course, in the same stuff they were claiming,
I believe this story 0%. Okay, I believe it.
They raised almost $100,000.
Yeah, I believe they did. They probably got a nice insurance claim on the theft, and they're probably sitting on just
back. By the way, and these damn protesters, they actually were in my neighborhood, and they bored out there. I need a 0-turn mower.
Just a bunch of boxes and boxes of She-Hulk and Wonder Woman 1984 variant covers are stacked up somewhere, and they're like, no, they definitely stole all the Diamond Reject merchandise. That's what happened. That's what the kids are into. They probably had more customers stealing shit from that comic shop than Marvel's average run distribution.
Well, they carried magic cards and other stuff. So maybe people like that better than new comics. I don't know.
What's funny, I can just see it now. Like a whole rack is looted except for like Lady Thor comics just stacked up 12 deep.
I would hate to be a comic shop these days. My comic shop owner, he's had to diversify going into role-playing games. He's tried, pops were the big thing before, but he said, 65% of his business comes from other because he can't stay in business otherwise. So
how could you? The only comic shop I've ever been to recently, I tried to talk to him about this and he's like, I don't get anything from Diamond. He does only comic resales. So he buys people's comics and then sells them, or he acquires extra shipments or whatever, leftover stuff from various places. But he doesn't deal with Diamond. He doesn't do new comics at all. Unless someone were to bring one in and he would buy it and probably throw it in the dollar bin because it wouldn't be worth anything yet.
Dollar bin, yeah, like 50 for the dollar bin. There you go.
And he has, like, his dollar bin is, he's got several boxes where it's probably someone comes in with like 15 comics to sell or whatever, and he pays like $12 and gets all of them, and then throws most of them in the dollar bin because he wanted to get the one comic that was worth $10. But yeah, it's I don't know how you would do it these days. I don't, because everything I see coming out, I'm like, this is just boring. For one, even if you're not in on the woke stuff or whatever, like even if that doesn't bother you, aren't people bored of these characters? They've been around for 60 years or more. Like, I can't imagine that Spider-Man is still fresh.
There are certain, I don't know, some storytellers will pick up something and make it exciting, but the problem is, look at the people, look at their mindset out there. How many good storytellers, even if you find one, they won't stay around that long because they don't pay them. All the Keanu Reeves stuff, I don't know if you've seen all of that with his. He joined up with some people, did a Kickstarter. They made $300 and something thousand in a day, and some people were pissed off. Well, they were talking shit about the company behind it. This company pays inkers like $20. It's Boom Studio, by the way, $20 a page. I mean, shit, how do you live on that? Nobody could do that, man. So you're not going to keep talent.
No, and that's the Marvel problem, right? Like, they cycled in random people that they find doing stuff, and they pay them a slave wage. And then they're like, well, it's your opportunity to work for Marvel. But then they don't. It's like, you can draw a couple pages of this major property, and then they let them, without cultivating their creativity in any real way, then they suddenly will like randomly unleash them based on, I don't know if it's a drunken dartboard toss as to what green lights like an individual project. But it can't be an editorial decision because they all seem to be catastrophic failures, right? Like the new stuff that comes out that is not just a new run of Daredevil or whatever, but a genuinely new property. It's like, what? No thought went into this, and the person you have doing this is an absolute moron. So I don't know what process it is, but I think that the way the comic book industry has been treating their creative staff is borderline criminal. I think they're throwing them to the wolves, and all of their successes seem to be based on these old properties just being the old properties. But once they go on their own, they try to make something new. They just can't do it. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
I don't know. I still buy comics every now and then because I'm interested, and they're tax write-off. Let's be honest. I wouldn't buy them otherwise. But yeah, some of it's a habit too. Like there are estimated 30 to 50,000 comic consumers. That's it in the entire world that are keeping that market afloat. And
I don't know that they're keeping that market afloat.
Yeah, well, you as a taxpayer kept it afloat. The
right.
PPP that were given out, IDW that lost in 3 years, the equity $50 million for a company. They've lost 70 something million dollars in 3 years. You gave them $3 million as a taxpayer. You'll never see it back because they put 60+% of, probably at 60% into payroll. So it was forgiven. You kept them afloat, and they still couldn't be profitable even with your $3 million.
No, they're a disaster. So I owe a song in Lemoyne's voice to Lost Bullets, and then I think we should talk about Johnny Depp, and if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you have any closing thoughts on your severe life of internet crime? Or
I hope when I die on the internet that I leave behind a fucking awesome, like when people read about it, they're like, oh my God, that was the weirdest, craziest, shittiest person ever. And that'll be cool, because most of the stuff, when you read this stuff, people are so, I don't know, they see it through a specific lens. Everything you do, if people hate you, they hate you. You know how that works. So, and people make up some fun shit. I hope they make up some better fun shit though, because it's been a fun ride so far. So that's my closing.
Well, like I said, let me reiterate: guilty of internet crimes, and you are sentenced to 12 hours of mocking cuckoldry that you can serve at your leisure. Okay, I have to sing "When a Man Loves a Woman" by Michael Bolton in Lemoyne's voice, and it's actually not far off of Michael Bolton's voice when you think about it. So, I hate this. When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else. He'd trade the world for a good thing he's found. If she is bad, he can't see it. She can do no wrong. Turn his back on his best friend if he puts her down. So there you go, guys. So
that's where I go. If you want to try to shame people that do that kind of stuff online, really, come on.
No, I only want to shame Jay Sean Lemoyne. And you know why I like making fun of his stupid West Nile riddled lungs? Because it makes people so mad. They're like, you're making fun of his disability. I'm like, no, I'm utilizing his disability to make fun of a piece of shit. Yeah. There's a big difference. And I have no problem going, I like touching kids like Joe Biden does in Lemoyne's voice. I have no problem doing that because I think it's funny. And I think the fact that he is such a shitbag makes it even funnier. So I don't care at all. And it makes, it makes like law Twitter. They're like, he's such an upstanding lawyer. I'm like, you don't know this guy. You know nothing about him. You met him on the internet like everybody else. He could honestly murder old people in his sleep and you would not know. He's a good guy. He's just a fucking lawyer. Most of them are terrible. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. All right, let's talk about Johnny Depp. Sell me on this case, because so many people have asked me to talk about it, and I'm like, one, I haven't been following it. Now I feel overwhelmed. And two, I don't even know where, are you sourcing the documents somewhere? Their family law cases tend to not be that public, but I imagine with this one it is.
Yeah. This is so there are a lot of documents. They started out, with the 2016 divorce. You have a lot of stuff there, and many of them were collected, so you can already easily find them remotely easily. And then the other documents that came up, you have the Sun with Johnny Depp versus the Sun libel trial. All of that came up because they called him a wife beater in a headline, and they actively tried to destroy his job. They were trying to get him fired.
Yeah, don't be a wife beater. Be a waifu beater. Get yourself a Dakimakura and just beat the ever-loving hell out of it. That's the true gentleman way to unleash your rage. Sorry. Go on.
This has been an interesting case because this is the only thing I've ever seen where people were so frustrated by the coverage of the Johnny Depp versus the Sun. Okay, they literally funded a journalist to go there and to live tweet to tell people what was going on because the news media was so just fucked up about it. They decided, right off the bat that of course, the Amber Heard, innocent ACLU spokesperson for all women, and this guy, he did all these terrible things. She came up with 14 incidents. They are interesting. They're so ridiculous. She made up a new one for this new trial. In fact, every so often she'll come out with a new one, like a recollection, and this new one was so bad that we couldn't even hear about it in public. But you source all of the documents. There's one place that compiled everything for the Sun litigation, and some of this stuff. Okay, if I were going to tell you one story that would sell you on it, there was
Is it the shitting on the floor story?
on the bed. It was shitting on a bed. So that's amazing to me. But before that, apparently, okay, there was a bodyguard that said the night that happened, Johnny Depp apparently came in. He found out that he was out $750 million. He had a business discussion about that. So he wasn't having a good day, let's just say.
Look, he had a business discussion. He just found out he was out $750 million. He's just like one of us. One of us. One of us.
So he finds this out. He goes in. He's talking to. They have an argument. He ends up leaving. Well, apparently in that she takes his cell phone and his wallet, throws it off their balcony, and their bodyguard had to go and buy it back from a homeless guy. And the guy bought it back. This is the court document. He bought it back for $425, 3 chicken burritos, 2 waters. That's hilarious. Okay, so the next
the bodyguard probably had to expense it. Because he had to go and shell out the cash and get the burritos.
I was just like, what? That is very, 3 chicken burritos, 2 waters. I was like, why do we have 3 of this and 2 of that? I don't know. There's just so many things I want to know about. So the next day, the maid staff calls the property owner and it's like, Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Under the sheets, apparently, somebody had taken a shit, a human shit. They were they were like, I've seen the dog do it before. This isn't it. Apparently, either Amber Heard or one of her friends. It looks like Amber Heard did it. Got mad about whatever went on that night and decided to shit the bed, literally.
Wait, so she did it?
Yeah. Now the maid has a test. Oh, it's the funniest fucking document I've ever read. She was telling us, so there's her and another maid. They go in and she says she's cleaning the kitchen. The other maid, she hears, startle cry. Ah, I can imagine like this woman sitting there just pointing, screaming out like, oh my God,
What's the maid's name?
And she finds this lady stare. The other maid is pointing at the bed. There's cover there. She pulls back the cover. Human shit. I mean, oh my God. Just reading that.
That's good. And okay, so I'm picturing this. Do you remember a couple years ago, like Iggy, I think it was Iggy Azalea, did the picture where like she's squatting down looking over her shoulder, and then Miley Cyrus did the same thing?
Yeah.
Like I'm picturing that's how Amber Heard shit the bed. Like looking angrily at a picture of Johnny Depp, just like in that pose, in that squat pose, just because how do you shit on a bed?
I have no idea. Like I couldn't. How do you do that on command?
I know. Like if some people will like, I've heard of people like passing out from drugs or whatever and shitting the bed, literally. Like, but that's where they wake up like covered in their own mess. That's a different thing. This is like leaving a strategic turd, and like tucking it in and reading a story or whatever.
What was amazing is it was sent from, the person to the property manager, a picture. The picture ended up in the documents. So it's in there. I was like, oh my God. Which Johnny Depp started, calling her in text messages, Amber Turd, and it just it's hilarious, Amber did squat for me. And I mean, you can see but she is one of the worst cases of accusation equals, and you can tell because there's video evidence. She says she's beaten on May 21st. She says she's beaten horrifically. A telephone is thrown into her face. There's video footage of her many days leading up to the 26th. She decides, hey, I'm going to go to file a domestic violence restraining order in California because she wants to win a lawsuit. She does it very publicly. She has a bruise that pops up then, and it goes away the next day. I mean, there are multiple incidents like that. She also, Johnny Depp got his finger chopped off in one incident, and he had a cigarette put out in his face. So
I saw the finger chopped off thing. That was where like she threw a piece of a broken glass or bottle or something at him.
She threw a magnum-sized bottle, 2 of them, and one of them, when it hit, it took his finger off. She also, there's a mark they never talk about in the media. She put a cigarette out on his face in that in that. And this is before they got married. They got married after this. I like
after it.
Yeah, that happened years before. Like I said, there's some crazy stuff that goes on.
Look,
She must have
buyer beware on that one. That's his own
for
damn
real.
fault.
No prenup either. That was, putting a finger on it. Putting a finger on it. Didn't put a ring on it. Put a finger on it. But
I'm trying to find a picture of what I was talking about. Where did this thing go?
I think you would like that. I think you would find it entertaining, but it's also, again, it goes to all the stuff we talk about with you're waking up. I'm going to use the word normie. You're waking them up to the fact that believe all women. That does not work. That leads to some awful shit. Hashtags like Me Too. They're a failure. There is so much documentation. Yeah, Johnny Depp is a drug addict. He's been many things, but substance abuse, it does not equal domestic abuse. It's not the same thing.
No, it's very, very different. Yes. And that's one of those kind of frustrating things that it was not Iggy Azalea, it was Nicki Minaj. That's why.
That's right. I can't even keep these people straight in my brain.
They're all the same fucking person. That's the problem. But yeah, it's the whole I don't know. Man, it's I don't even know where I was going with this. Just the believe all women stuff is getting way out of control. And the problem with normies, like you're saying, is that they don't have time to see the danger. It's not important because their life is simple, right? And they go, oh, if my sister or mother called me and said that their husband was beating them, I would have a problem with that, right? Like that. They go, I would want to fix that problem. However, I'd shoot that motherfucker or whatever. That's where their brain goes. But what they don't realize is that the implication of believe all women is that someone might go out there and just lie about something.
That implies all women are trustworthy, and anyone is not trustworthy. We spend a lot of time. I became fascinated with the due process stuff when we got into the Vic Mignogna case. That was fascinating to me, seeing the law aspect, but also, I mean, we have two challenges to this cancel culture nonsense. We have a judicial way, and we have this fight for hearts and minds, and you meet both of them with cases like this. This is a big enough case, though. Like I said, you can wake up. If you can wake people up, there are a lot of people that they don't know about the other stuff. What matters to me, comic books matter. I drag these people back to comic books and like, look at what these people have done to my fucking industry that I love. Fuck these people too.
Yeah.
Get out your pitchforks and torches. Let's burn some shit down.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I mean, I guess I really should look it up because I've watched a little bit of it from afar, and it's always crazy. But at the same time, I'm just like, God, do I have the patience for it? But
I think just periodically you get updates on it. We have if you don't want to invest the time, just when the trial, there's going to be a U.S. trial. We just ended. We don't know we don't know how that's going to turn out. See, that's another frustrating thing that we've seen with other cases. They didn't get to this level, So we not only have a guy that, again, he by himself could spend $1.26 million, but he's getting to in the Sun libel trial, which the Sun is a shit tabloid anyway. They're one of these terrible places. We'll find out about it probably this month. And then next year, it's going to be good. So Amber Heard, she responded to the lawsuit in the U.S. She responded by saying everybody that talks about her negatively is a Russian bot. They literally use Russian bot.
That's what all the funny story though. That's what all the anime fatsos say too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
weirdos. I mean, it's it's all the same, but seeing it in a court document, it's like that's your defense,
Right. Yeah. Well, and I kind of feel like that might have popped up in the Vic case as well. But I don't remember if so much has happened in that, and my brain can't ever go back to like a specific thing. So I can't remember if that was just online or if that was in the court documents. But yeah, that's like the weird thing. Well, these people are all bots. Like, why would you ever assume that a bunch of people on the internet are bots just because they just like the disagreement? By the way, do you have the stream pulled up itself? The YouTube live stream?
No, I just have the Google Hangout.
Okay, I found the picture and I put it up on the stream, but people couldn't see it, or you couldn't see it. So let me pull it up real quick because it's just
I gotta look.
It's funny. It's gonna pop up right here. I'm screen sharing it. So there it is. That was.
Oh God.
See, that's
the absurdity. These people are so out of touch. And again, I don't give a fuck about celebrities. Who cares? I did like Vic Mignogna. I actually liked that guy. You know, it's a different world. He's the biggest thing in dubbing, but it's dubbing. You could go and you can interact. You can see that this guy is a good dude. I don't have any hero worship qualms with covering a celebrity. In fact, I hate most celebrities, but who gives a shit? I mean, it's like I said, it's bigger than that.
Okay, I got a couple chats, and then I want to talk a little bit about Vic if you'll humor me. Mike Walters says Superman debuted in Action Comics #1, April 18th, 1938, and Batman debuted in Detective Comics #27 on September 13th, 1939, at a time when Action and Detective were still anthologies. So thank you for that history, Mike. And that's my point. Like, these properties are so old, and they're still going, and that's what makes people mad, is they lose the spirit of them in trying to tell a new story, because you have to tell something new. But don't do that to an old property. Tell the same old story on the old property. That's actually okay. People still will buy Batman versus Kingpin. Is it Kingpin? No, I'm fucking bad at this. No, that's Daredevil.
If they bought that, that'd be a crossover Marvel DC. They would buy it. You would be right. You know,
I am such a shit comics person.
Taking your internet cred card.
Let me tell you real quick. I'll go grab this thing. It's in the same room. I just gotta take my headphones off for a second. I bought comics the other day.
He can't hear me.
Rate my purchase, Tug, because you know all about comics, and I know fuck all about comics. I bought this Warlands. Have you ever seen this?
Warlands. I'd have to look. I have to look in my it's sad. I've got a this is terrible to say. I've got like a little database where I keep up with all my comics because I can't keep up with them anymore. Yeah, but I think that's an old an Image comic from like,
it was
99
Image comic, and it was actually, they ran 12 on Image, and then they did 2 more limited runs with their own company after that. But that's so when I go to a comic store, like, I buy weird stuff. I'm like, oh, this cover looks like Dungeons and Dragons, and I kind of like the art. It looks kind of cool, and that's how I buy comics. So I don't.
I'm noir and horror. I'm when I buy, that's why I like Batman, because it was at its essence a detective. So I've always liked that. I liked superhero stories at a certain time. I like superheroes go crazy, kill everybody stories. But
yeah, I almost bought the Hellraiser comics. Like the guy had like a whole bunch of the Hellraiser comics.
Right, the newest stuff was pretty good, to be honest. That new run, that, God, I'd have to look up exactly. There's been a few. Some of them have not been good, but there was a fucking phenomenal run at one time. I liked it when they tried to revitalize it. So
I don't know if this was that or if it was something else.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. I like franchises like that. I go in and buy older ones. It's interesting too. I've been picking up some DC to see what's there, and comics, especially on that side, have gotten dark. I don't mind that because I'm a horror fan, but my God, how does that appeal to the audience, just again some normie kid that's gonna pick up comic books. First of all, you got a $5 buy-in, and then it's darker than hell when you get into it.
I think that's a product. I was talking about this the other day because I do the watch parties on Twitch. I don't know if you've messed with that at all, but it's super fun.
Yeah. I've messed with. I thought about playing with that. I'm just so lazy. I've been messing with Flash a little bit there.
Yeah, well, it's my wind down. After I do a stream, I go on Twitch and I watch movies, and I love watching 80s movies. But I watched a Korean movie the other day, Train to Busan.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, good flick. And it reminded me of like 90s American movies, 90s to early 2000s American movies. And I think the Koreans are just like a decade or two behind American cinema. And I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm watching all of these 80s movies and just like the ludicrous nature of them, and then I watch like a modern movie and I see how much import they put on everything. It's like, well, if we're going to spend $700 million making and marketing this movie, everything has to have meaning, but it doesn't actually have meaning, but they try and infuse it into it. And so then what we're left with, and this is, I'm tying this back into comics, I promise, but we're left with this idea that every story has to reflect enough reality to be produced today. And that's what that's the darkness of the superhero, right? Like, well, you can't just have an upstanding corn-fed Iowa alien from Krypton or whatever, Nebraska. I don't know where Superman lived. But you can't just have a Midwest boy who's the ideal like American square-jawed superhero who has so many powers that it's ridiculous, and he goes and saves the day, and that's the entire book. Now, like, Superman would have to also be like a woman beater or something. Like, you'd have to put some kind of darkness or real twist to it. You can't have just a hero anymore. Because they think that makes it,
man. I mean, that's the problem. Like,
yeah, they want to be.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. We're doing that weird thing where we're jousting and we're both trying to let each other go. But they don't want to just
drinking is what it is on my side.
They just don't want to let. They don't, like you said. It's about escapism. They don't want that escapism. Instead, they want to bombard reality into every aspect of your life. And when all you're trying to do is say, no, I really just want to watch a billionaire with a tool belt run around and beat up a guy dressed like a scarecrow because that sounds dumb and I don't have to think about it and it's great. Like, that's all I want to do. And I don't really care about how the billionaire beating up the scarecrow has an impact on African hunger. Like, I don't give a shit about that. That doesn't matter. I heard about African hunger all day from Sally Struthers. I don't need it from Bruce Wayne. God, I just hate that that's like where we are. They can't let us get away.
That's why I like a lot of the stuff that indies produce. That's what brought me and compelled me to go with Comicsgate, because there is escape. Like for myself, we're writing right now 40-page. It's basically a shout out to pulp horror with, again, it's through a kid's lens so we can have fun. I'm writing an all ages horror book, and
yeah.
That's fun. It's not going to have anything political to say. The only thing political to say is if you don't like the person that's making it, I guess. And I don't mean to have that, unlike those other creators out there. But these people, they think, I guess because they don't get paid, they think, well, we got to do something out here. We're attracted to this not for money. We're attracted to it because of the clout it gives us. We can put in that social situation. We can, the worst situation, I guess here's a good example. The worst one I've ever noticed was the hiring of a specific writer for Captain America. Captain America should be, again, most patriotic character out there. But the guy that they hired, he wrote a book talking about quite a few things. 9/11's in there. And he basically, again, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that the first responders that died in that, they deserved it because they're just like police that kill black people. And I thought, what the fuck? You don't understand. If you can't understand that, how do you write Captain America? You can't get it. But it gave him a political platform, and he's inserted a lot of bullshit into it.
Who is it? Who's doing that?
God,
I think I know his name. I just can't remember.
I can't freaking my brain. Somebody in the chat will say if you can.
All of these dudes who are writing these comics now, I'm just like, where do you buy all of the soy milk that you drink? Because my store doesn't carry that much, and I can't imagine how much they have to guzzle to get the way they are. Ta-Nehisi Coates?
Ta-Nehisi Coates, yeah, that's it. So Ta-Nehisi,
no, that guy.
Yeah. Yes,
is that a guy? I don't.
The guy, yeah, the guy who called the guy who calls a black man who doesn't call a black man a sellout or almost a white man for backing the wrong political party, but literally writes a diatribe in the Atlantic, like a 20-page diatribe on that. Yeah, that guy.
Ta-Nehisi's a black guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I
There's a
wasn't sure. What?
I've never encountered. I guess it's that whole political thing, but there's this congregation of not leftists but progressives, extreme leftists that are in comic books, and I've never seen so many people call other folks race traitors or insinuate that they're again, apologies for that, but like an Uncle Tom or I'd never heard of it, but an Uncle Yan. I'd never heard that until comic book Twitter. Oh, you're a sellout, but you're Asian, so you're an Uncle Yan. I'd never heard that. Thanks, Tom.
I don't think I talked to you ever about the Tom King thing where he drew that stupid infographic or whatever, the pledge. The pledge to not abuse women. What did you make of that? Because I thought that was to me, that's the worst look on earth, where it's like, well, I have to have this online. I think about as a Christian, if you get involved in like small groups in a Protestant sort of or evangelical sort of faith, they'll talk about things like accountability partners, where you have to pick someone who is like, well, you're about to masturbate, you better call your male friend and tell him about it. It's like, whoa, this is weird. But you have to have an accountability partner who's going to stop you from sinning or who holds you accountable for your sins. And that's what like the Tom King thing seemed to me. And it's like, I don't get shame. Like shame doesn't do it for me. And I don't think it's the right thing, but here it is, like, I have to publicly announce that I'm not going to abuse sexually women is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, if I would say that's a given. Like for myself, I'm not going to go out and rape anybody. I'm not going to beat them. That's norm. Like 999% of us are not going to do that. But in comics, but then again, you see, even if they're not doing it, you see that culture, like, God, they're going to get blamed for it just to get them out of the way. I was shocked when I see a guy being accused of love bombing, because it wasn't even, that was Mags Visaggio,
Yeah, that was the one where she's like mad that he was calling her for advice or whatever.
No, he was saying, "Oh yeah, I like your product," is what it was.
Okay.
I like your product, and maybe I can help you out with that. Oh my God, he didn't do all this. That was love bombing, and that's it's being thrown into these same conversations. I'm like, so you're telling me that saying that your product is good, but not basically letting you walk on me to get higher on that. That's the same as rape. That's fucked up.
It's God, all that whole thing is so weird. The Whisper Network is great.
Yeah,
I love that story. I hope they have another piece coming out about it soon.
That was good. I mean, there's so much of that, and again, that's shown in broad strokes. Like when I first saw that first article, I kept thinking, okay, well, it makes sense. You can tell who's tied into it that aren't listed because of the topics that relate to those specific days. You have 30 people that pop up with the same topics telling you about, comics are a small group and this, that, actively telling you the same topic that's popping up in that group. Oh, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's I just don't respect any of those people enough to even listen to their regular opinions on anything. Like, I wouldn't listen to how to make toast from them. So I'd be like, well, listen, I've read things that you wrote, and I don't trust you to teach me how to make toast. I'm gonna go learn it from a total stranger on the internet instead.
Unfortunately, we put them in positions of authority where they can speak. A lot of times, we've trusted companies to make decisions with products that we think will be safe for our kids, and they're not. I remember picking up it really drove this home. I picked up a Batgirl comic for my daughter, and in it,
Nope.
you have this. I mean, it's just this basic shit, but in the middle of it, you have Batgirl sitting down with her friends, and one of them is just upset. They ask her why. Well, because we went to the fertility clinic today, and I got misgendered. I was like, "What the fuck is this in my Batgirl comic for?"
How'd you get misgendered?
And what does that even mean? Like, am I going to tell my 5, 6, 8-year-old? Am I going to have to explain this scene?
You know how I would explain misgendering? Like, oh, actually, when I heard that guy talk, it sounded like a girl, and so I said, "Ma'am," and then they turned around. It was a boy, and I felt really embarrassed for having said "ma'am." Like, that's how I would explain.
Dude looks like a lady. Dude looks like a lady. Yeah.
It's like it's more just when I think of misgendering, I think of like an honest mistake,
Yeah.
And God damn, I can't imagine being offended by, but of course I can't imagine being offended by much of anything. So I guess that doesn't count. So I wanted to, well, we have to talk about Sophie, I guess.
Okay.
Because that's in the title.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about Vic just a little bit, but maybe let's talk about Sophie because we kind of mentioned Vic earlier. Okay. Are you following? So how closely are you following the Sophie case? I saw you did a video.
I'm diving into it more and more. I'm still not 100% caught up. There's a lot of stuff. I made an anger call. I called the Frisco County police out there. They're very frustrating. Of course, they're going to give you they they are being bombarded with calls, which is good. I'm glad that that's happening, to be honest. It deserves some attention. I hope they don't take it out on the kid, though. I mean, that's one scary thing in there, taking it out on the family that they think caused it. But I called anyway, and they were so dismissive of everything. So what I've been trying to do is see if I can get my hands on the court documents. I mean, that's where we're going to find the crux of things. I've seen posted screenshots, like portions of it, but when you look up, it's not Frisco County. It's another setup. The only people that have access to that, or whatever, secretaries. I can't remember. Like I said, I've been drinking. I can't remember the right term. Let me see. I'll look at the screenshot. It's district clerks. That's who it is. Sorry if you're a district clerk. I called you a secretary.
No, that's fine.
Rekieta meant that. He insulted. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean it. I mean it as an insult as much as possible. If you're a clerk, you're a secretary. I don't even. Most clerks in law clerks, are lawyers, but I'll call them a secretary anyway.
I want to see the documentation. I don't want to see pieces of it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take sides in this either. What I'm seeing is, again, I've been on the practitioner side. I really want to focus and drill that home. I've worked with kids until I couldn't do that anymore. And I see an abused kid. I feel like it's my responsibility. I took an oath to protect people for that. And I hear a kid crying out saying, "I'm being abused." They're putting that child into an abusive atmosphere. That is highly unorthodox. It is, like you were saying, it's bordering on criminality. I don't know how it isn't, depending on who's involved. You've had hospitals that have been involved. They've given your opinion that something is going on. Again, remove child, make sure the child's safe, and investigate it. I'm not saying that guy's a pedophile. I don't know who the fuck he is, but something's going on there. That kid is being sexually abused. I would put money on it. I would wager on that. If I'm wrong about that, man, you know, I
Yeah. Okay, so I'm reading that there's a hearing tomorrow for a protective order. The protective order is against the dad. The mom got a protective order against the dad at some point, and that's why he doesn't have the kids. The hearing tomorrow is to get that dismissed. So I don't know the specifics of this case, but just speaking generally, a lot of times what will happen is someone will make a petition for a protective order. And a lot of times that petition can be ex parte, which means that the other side doesn't even know that it exists. And a judge will grant a temporary protective order, and then they will send out notification to be served to the other party. And to do that, you just have to allege enough bad stuff. Now, if you do it in bad faith, if you lie to get a protective order, in theory, that could come back on you for lying to the court and misrepresenting them. And I've worked a case where that happened, and it was kind of funny because the judge was really pissed off that they'd been lied to and issued a temporary restraining order based on lies. But a lot of times it doesn't, there's not a lot that goes on. But you have to allege enough that the judge goes, okay, this is dire enough that we need to put a temporary order on, and we'll give the other person option to have a hearing on it. And so then once they get served, they can request a hearing within X amount of days, and then the court schedules it soon after that. So it looks like that's probably what's going on. And now they're having a hearing to see if the order is valid. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like I said, there's a lot of highly irregular stuff that's going on in that. That father, I've watched his live streams talking about it and everything else. And
the hearing tomorrow is public.
Is it? Oh,
and it's on YouTube. I'll send you a link. I've got the link. Siren Jag dumped a bunch of stuff on me. It's 10 a.m. Central Time. God, you know what? I should restream it. We'll live stream it. Maybe I could do that. I got to talk to Lady Rackets. Do you guys want to do that? Do you guys want to watch the hearing live and scream about it on a restream? That could be fun.
You should, man. Like, again, every eye that gets on it, we laugh and do all kinds of stupid shit online, but I feel like this is important. It wakes people up to the reality of this stuff. It happens all too often. We do discuss the transgressions within the justice system, the issues fathers face, especially. Like, hey, here's a perfect example of
here's one of the frustrating things. So in a lot of relationships still, dads work and moms don't work as much. And that's not a comment on the relationship. I mean, hell, in our relationship, ever since we've been married, I've been the sole breadwinner. And sometimes that goes well and sometimes it doesn't. And that's right. Okay. But we made a decision a long time ago that Lady Rackets would take care of the house and the kids, because we're kind of trad cucks that way or whatever. And I'm happy to have that arrangement. But
I mean, my wife takes care of my children at home. I'm glad to have that set up. A lot of people cannot have that. I would my children feel like they're loved, and make sure that there's somebody watching, because I don't trust the people that are assigned to watch them normally.
Exactly. So because of that, though, if something were to happen, probably not as much now because I work from home, but if something were to happen back when I worked for like Wells Fargo or Thrivent, where I was working 8 hours a day, and having an hour-long commute on either end of that. So I'm gone for this, almost half of the entire day every day. If something were to happen between Lady Rackets and I back then, she would almost default to having the children. And so then that's the way that works out. And what's so nefarious about that is that if the mom has the children and then makes a request for an ex parte protective order against the dad, a judge is inclined to get it because they don't have to go get the kids. It's really simple. The mom already has the kids. So then you've got this protective order that goes out to the dad, and they didn't have to send a cop to like grab the kids and transfer them or something like that. If that's the case, it gets a little bit tougher. But it's really easy for a judge to grant an order at the start of it. And that's just one of the ways that that we would call, in a different context, we would call that systemic. That's systemic prejudice against dads. And the systemic part of it is that we have built a society that favors that type of relationship where dads tend to have a more out of the home role than moms. And then as sort of a natural consequence, moms are the ones who grab the kids when things go south. That's just how it goes. But it shouldn't be that way. And there shouldn't be like an automatic deference against the dad, but that's why we have it. That's why I'm bringing it up. Kind of ranting here.
I don't know these situations again. I think if average people understood, like again, you talk about the court side, we're talking about the trying to pick these people. I know this child is already going to have a long road to, I don't want to call it normalization, but to try to adjust
processing.
This. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been there. I didn't do trauma focused therapy. I'm not the guy you see right there, unless I've lived in small areas where you can't send anybody anywhere else. So I would see a person that needed trauma focused therapy. But seeing a kid like that age sitting across from you, telling you the worst shit ever, like people are shocked when they watch that little video clip. Man, I mean, it's a long road back to getting there. And they should have already started that. The first step in that is removing that child from not just abuse, but now with these people's name going out, imminent harm. Like they are in the way of imminent harm. Somebody may, God knows what kind of retaliation. Some sick fuck that does that stuff, God knows what they might do afterwards. And
oh yeah, that's the real nasty thing. And that, I think, if I'm being charitable to the judge, and my charity towards judges is extremely limited, so take that for what it's worth. But I'm being charitable to the judge. That's the only modicum of excuse that the judge could have for saying that social media posts are not in the best interest of the child, is that if by some means, now in this case I don't think it's true because of the parties involved, but if the mom was not aware that the child had been saying the stuff about, revealing, or well, I should say alleging, I shouldn't say revealing, alleging the abuse she was enduring at the hands of the mom and the boyfriend or whatever. If they weren't aware, they are now. And that might lead to retaliation. But if a judge is concerned about retaliation and about the child being in danger over social media posts, then the judge should remove the child. Like, would you agree with that? Like, if the judge is concerned that there's a safety issue because of social media, that the judge should say, the child needs to now be protected immediately while we figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, if videos are doing harm, then what the point of the videos was? God, when I saw that, like I said, that frustrated that.
Man, I wanted to uppercut the grandma straight into the goddamn moon. When the girl said that she was tired of it, and they always make her feel bad, and she says, well, if you really felt bad, you wouldn't have gotten the lead part in that play, and you wouldn't be on the dance team or whatever. The
part that stuck out to me was the blood in the underwear thing. Again, I hate even bringing this stuff up like that, but that the child's reaction, the breathing, the way the child moves their head back and forth, they're just at first, like to some people, like if you look at the child's reaction when they're excited, when they're stressed out, if you look like at the way they're shaking their head, some people were saying they're trying to clear hair out of face. No, they're not. Like you look at it, they're trying to process emotion that, like, I don't know how to process. So
yeah, adults, you could just listen. Actual adults in the comic industry are having trouble processing the fact that a man hit on them at a bar at 2 a.m. Like they have trouble processing that. We're expecting a child to process abuse, and we have people claiming to be like adjusted adults, like being traumatized by being hit on by someone or catcalled. I mean, for Christ's sake, like we can't hold these two these two different positions at the same time. It's too stupid for my taste. Ugh.
I don't know how you hear this stuff and don't think, my God, I've got to investigate. I don't know what kind of callous, cold piece of shit you are to let this continue. I can't process this judge. And I mean, I get cronyism. I understand it. But still, it's a bad,
Yeah.
it's been a very bad look. The one thing I do hate is that to get to this point where people talk about it, that child, their face is out there and everything else. There's nothing we could do about it. The father got to that point, desperate enough that God, I weighed whether or not I wanted to redact their face and everything else, but I was like, oh, it's already out there. I can't do anything about it. It's big. It's its own hashtag. God, to get that kid out of that situation and let this happen, this kid will always have that associated with them, always, for the rest of their life, and not
Yeah.
just mentally. Other people outside of this situation will associate that. That child will always have to relive. Just like I said, this is such a fucked up thing that is happening here. I've seen situations like this regress children to the point that, like, I worked with a 9-year-old. I believe they were either 8 or 9, and their entire vocabulary was 50 words after this kind of stuff because it
Mm.
psychologically damaged them that badly. And I don't know. Again, just listening to these stories got me to a level where I had to stop doing it. I couldn't do it, and I can't. Like in my own life, my kid, if she goes out in the backyard to play, I feel physical stress if I can't see her.
Yeah.
So I can even imagine that father. My heart goes out to that guy.
I have heard, or I'm told that there's a new judge involved in the hearing. I don't know if it's a new judge or if this is just a judge involved in the protective order hearing, and it's not the judge for the other family law issues. I'm not sure, but that's what's going on. The amicus attorney has been dismissed, and that's the attorney that threatened to have the dad jailed. That's just not appropriate. Like I want to know, like you said, I want the
Mhm.
documents. I want to know what is going on from this, and I'm hoping someone out there will leak them.
Yeah,
This is
please.
a
Also, I do want to extend this. I'm sure anybody else will extend it. If somebody involved in the case wants to come on channel again, I know certain people may be under order. I don't know. Again, gag order lifted. Okay, I don't know how far people want to go, but you want to talk about this shit, I'll give you a platform. And we're not. You see what we do. We'll chit chat. It's not like going in the media and having a hit piece put out on you. I'm not there to. I just want to understand this situation. And, I think it would raise real awareness. And I don't care any channel. I think that they have a lot of these videos they're doing them on Facebook. They're reaching people.
mhm.
But I think if they want to take advantage of platforms with like your size, my size, or whatever, at least I'm not going to speak for you in that, but for
No,
myself, yeah.
I mean, I would of course have anybody on with the intent to protect their identity, but even if they don't want to come on, if they just want to confidentially release stuff, if anybody out there has a line to any of these people,
Oh yeah.
if they want to anonymously and confidentially release stuff, I have a guest lined up who's an expert in Texas family law specifically, and we're just waiting for sufficient information to talk about this. And it's someone that's never been on the channel before, and they have been doing Texas family law for longer than than you or I have been alive, and I think it would be a great sort of way to bring some clarity to what's been going on all facets of it. So if anybody is interested in releasing those documents, there are those of us out there who will happily keep your identity protected and confidential, but also in the interest of getting the truth out, we will do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I forget that's not a given sometimes when we talk. Yes, you can DM or anything else, mail. That's
Yeah.
nobody has to know who you are. I mean, if you're involved in it, if you're just second again, we're just looking for information on it. You know, there are a lot of people. I'm curious about it, but I also, like I said, if these people are not going to do the right thing, I think public pressure can make them. They're already reacting to public pressure. You can see it, you know, and yeah, let's make them react. Let's put them on their heels. If they want to play this game, then put them on their heel. We don't owe them anything. They can intimidate a father. They can put a gag order on him. They can't shut us the fuck up. We can do whatever we want to out here, and
Well,
let's do.
and
You know,
the family law system has kind of avoided this, but there's a reason we have public trials and why we have a public court system, and this is the reason. Because in the face of an unfair court, the light of public scrutiny exposes and kills the mold of corruption. I mean, that's just it. There's nothing else to say. Is that if there is corruption, if there is injustice going on, the ability to actually see and review what is happening in that courthouse is the ability to prevent the corruption that has a possibility of occurring. Because suddenly someone goes, wait a minute, the judge says this is in the best interest of the child, but what about this and this and this and this and this looks like a problem. But in the family law system, we have so many protections in place for kids' identities that we lose that the biggest protection that we have is the transparency that exists. And that's the protection from the government's intervention, which is to me, that's the most terrifying prospect. But
this whole prospect period is terrifying when you, like I said, the reality of it. Oh Lord! Again, we know to a point. Like I say, you see it. I've seen the reality of CPS, which is, oh God, that would scare the shit out of anybody. Like that's why any of these government systems, you know, I think when normal people see it, I think it, like I said, it scared me when I first saw, you know, some of these in action. Again, I didn't interact with the court as often. I've had to go a couple of times and put my word out there. I've had to, you know, that's why I had to carry $1 million in liability insurance because of stuff like this. You know, I've had to testify a couple of things to keep offenders in twice, and one child one time to have them removed from a home. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I do it in this. I cannot understand again why there is not a professional. Like there's got to be there has to be a therapist evaluation in this. If that hasn't happened, then again, criminal. That's criminal. They said CPS and stuff was involved. One recommendation going before a court, bam, that child will be out of that house. So I do not understand how it's gone this way.
Yeah, it's very strange, and that's why I want to know the rest of the story, because it's just so far out of the experience of people who have seen this stuff before. Okay, Bad Vibe says Sophie proves that fear is no excuse. Speak up. Well, yeah. In the end, we want people to speak up because we want the full justice system looking at this stuff. That's how we figure out truth as best as we can. That's what we've decided is the best way to do it. And the best way to do that is to have each person be able to present their side of that truth. Okay. So I think that's good on the Sophie situation. I just have a very brief thing to add. I got a message during the show. And it was from someone who was, you mentioned, we talked briefly about the live stream where Thomas Roy Loop was talking about me beating my kids or whatever. And the host of that show actually messaged me and said that he did not agree. He did not agree with that line of stuff. So in fairness to the host, I want to make sure and just point out that is that his statement was that he didn't agree with that at all. And you know, that's fine. Even, you know, look, even if someone did, it's okay. You don't know me at all, and you don't have any reason to like or presume that I'm a good or bad guy. Either way, I can tell you very much that I don't and wouldn't beat my children. I don't advocate violence against kids. I don't think it's right.
Can I give a shout out to somebody in the audience, by the way? I noticed somebody told me SJW Captain America was there.
Whoa. Actually, no, you can't.
Yes, I want to anyway.
This is my show, and there are no No, of course, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm gonna give him a shout out because he earned me about $13,000 because he's a stupid jackass that decided to call the police and stuff. So fuck yourself. I monetized you for $13,000. Thank you. And if you'd like to back the comic, by the way, if somebody would put it in the link there, make sure that you can leave comments. Make sure that you say this is for SJW Captain America.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's what I'm saying, dude. If you don't like people like myself, that's fine. But if you come at me, I'll put a price tag on you. I won't just respond stupidly and, like you said, spit fight with you. I'll put a price tag on you, because it's funny. I love the reaction to it. And really, what kind of weirdos want to weaponize your police departments and shit? They're crazy people. But anyway, props to you, buddy. Props. Thank you for the 13 grand. I appreciate it.
Such a nice gift from him.
Yeah.
Well, briefly, okay, so we're coming up towards the end of the show. I've got some chats to read, and then but right before we do that, I just wanted to ask if you've kind of been following up on Vic and his he announced like a Funko Pop. Well, it's not a Funko Pop, apparently.
It needs to be a Funko Pop. That's what yeah.
Yeah, it should be a Funko Pop. I just didn't know if you had any take on the situation.
I saw the mask mess too, where he they tried to cancel him because there's less than 2 minutes of video. He doesn't have a mask on. He makes a joke about people having masks on, and he also says, well, hey, we're socially distanced far enough. I'm like 20 feet away from you guys. These people went insane. They turned him into the worst piece of shit, like they have been forever, and it got a lot of traction. Because he's endangering lives. Oh my God.
It's crazy because, like, if you're doing a panel, because that's where they did the thing. If you're doing a panel, you're far away from people, and having a mask on, it makes it difficult, one, to hear someone, and two, especially for anyone who might be hard of hearing, it makes it very difficult to give them the visual assistance that's needed to make out the words. People kind of overlook that, but a lot of people who are hard of hearing or even deaf use lips to decipher, or to help interpret any sounds that they may or may not hear at all. So when you're a certain distance away from people, and this is consistent with the existing data, if you're more than about 6-7 feet away, like, your breath isn't impacting someone. That's so to go after him for that. It's the same petty shit, and it's the same losers who do it every single time. So that was dumb. Going after him for that. Also, I hear they're criticizing him over like some pictures that he took with fans where the masks were down. What of course they don't say is that the masks are actually up the entire time until they're taking the picture and they're facing the camera. They briefly take off masks to go ahead and take the picture, and then they put them all back on, which, by the way, everybody else there was doing too. Like, it's not
That's
like
the thing,
right.
But hadn't that been Vic, period? Vic, oh no, he hugs people at conventions. Oh my God. Well, everybody else does. Who cares? He's a monster.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, the idea of not hugging someone at a convention who stands in a line for any amount of time to come see you, like, is weird to me. Like, that's just something that I can imagine everybody does. Like, they get up and they're like, "Oh, thanks for coming to see me." A hug, a handshake, whatever it may be. But there's something about physical contact that humans find comforting and amplifying to communication. We don't just communicate verbally, and to only communicate verbally and none of the nonverbal and none of the physical communication is it's actually unsettling when you encounter it. But it's fucking irritating. But yeah, I just wanted kind of your take on that. But I think we should
I want him to get his Funko Pop though. I like it. I would support him. I support pretty much anything he does. Number one, I like the guy personally, but number
Yeah.
two, it pisses off all the right people. So support Vic Mignogna forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do with it because it looks like Funko said they haven't been working with him or whatever, and I don't know what's going on. I think they should make it. They'll sell thousands of them. They'll sell more of them than they'll sell of many of the Funkos that are out there. And they'll sell them direct. They don't even have to inventory them. People would just order them. So I think that'd be a good business move on their part. But at the same time, if they don't do it, I hope he in some way markets and sells the doll on his own.
I still wish he would go. There's so much monetization out there for Vic right now. There's a lot of support. I hope he goes out and he shows these people. I think every time they try to cancel somebody, the greatest success is not just fighting back, it's succeeding. So go and succeed. We'll all back you, buddy.
I think the success is more important than the fighting back. I think they feed on each other symbiotically. I think in Vic's case, especially, like the fight back. I've talked to several people who are like, who would say, and a great example is the Kitchener Comic-Con chairs, knuckleheads. They said it's because he fought back that they were able to invite him to their show. And so then because he fought back, they were able to bring him to a show that was ultimately successful for him. So that's a good thing. And the fight back is important, but I think the most important thing is to transition that into just doing something and letting people buy your thing. Whatever that thing may be, right? Like if he ends up in shows, if he does audiobooks, if he makes Funko Pops, if he's just doing conventions, whatever it is, I think that success is what's really pissing them off. And for Vic this year, it's the fact that he's going to, I think, like 9 or 10 conventions when most of them got to go to 1 or 2. And God, they hate that. That makes me.
I mean, he. One thing I learned from watching him, besides number one, he's just a normal dude out there trying to do his thing.
Yeah.
You could interact with him, but number two, he is a draw. He is that license to print money for any convention out there. If you're wondering about it, Anime Matsuri was a big convention, and those lines were insane. But Bubba Fest, I mean, this is like another. He's pulling as many people as Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Oh, he blew Jaime Lannister's line out of the water.
That's just crazy.
His numbers were comparable to Chuck Norris and Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like
I thought that was awesome. That shows. And it's because he has a great rapport. He's fun to. I enjoyed going there and just videotaping and stuff. His rapport with fans, goofing off. Again, I don't get it. I normally don't get invested in a person when I talk about that, but I got to where I really liked Vic Mignogna. I was like, all right.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude. At the end of the day, and I still like. If the allegations about Vic Mignogna are that he hugged people, I believe it. I believe he hugged people 100%. And I also don't give a shit that he hugged people. If the allegations are something of sexual impropriety or sexual misconduct, I haven't seen a single piece of convincing evidence to show me anything about that at all. And it's been what, a year and a half?
Yeah. Yeah. No video. I'm just. Predators. He was accused of being a child predator. Child predators have involuntary tails. They cannot get rid of them. I'm telling you, you can see it. They can't hide them maybe they can hide them for a little while. But again, for myself, being a heterosexual male, you can tell if I'm attracted to someone. Same thing with any type of a predator out there or anything. I watched Vic Mignogna many days because I was curious. I videotaped him for a long time. It's all a lie.
That's a creepy thing to say. Look, I videotaped him a long time.
Yeah, I videotaped the shit out of him. I was like, Vic.
No, but people, this is something that I think we get kind of, and again, it's that whole, there's a disconnect between what we do and what people see.
Right.
But I think they don't understand, and I know our audiences understand this, but if Vic were a bad guy, all I want on earth is people to show me that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like that's all I want. At the beginning, I've been waiting for anything to come up that makes me go, okay, well, all right, that's kind of, and it's like, oh well, he hired a prostitute at one point. I'm like, so,
Right.
like, I don't.
He hit on some twins. Okay, I've watched that. I've I've watched that before. I think people actually
you know, were I single,
Yeah.
were I single and had the opportunity, I would have absolutely hit on twins.
Mhm.
Like that's the joke. That's the meme of the century is it's the meme that you'll take if you have the opportunity.
It's the one you'll take. There you go.
It's but of course you would. Like some people know this. I don't know if I've told it on the channel before, but I did an ad read a long time ago for an advertising company for one of their pilot campaigns. So this was like we were recording their pitch to a major corporation to see if they could get the contract. So I wouldn't have been on the ad run itself, but I was on the pitch to try and acquire the ad run. And at that pitch, there were twins who were there, and they were the same age as me. We were teenagers at the time, so we were all minors. They were smoking hot, and if I weren't just like an awkward teenager, if I would have been, like actually cool, I would have absolutely hit on them to the end of time. Like that, because of course I would. Of course you would. It's like the idea that these are the crazy allegations against Vic Mignogna is that, okay, he hit on twins. I don't see why that's a problem. I really don't.
Jelly bean. I mean, that's that was a big one. I mean,
yeah, the jelly bean is again. It's another thing where it's like, okay, this is just it was a joke. I don't even think he meant it sexually. And two, even if he did, it was just a bad, like, if anything, it was just a not very funny joke. Right. But who hasn't told a not funny joke before? Most people only tell not funny jokes.
I can't imagine like 10 years after the fact being held accountable for some rando joke that oh God, I just, they could burn your life down. Welcome to the wonderful world of internet culture that needs to change. Yeah. I think that's a fight worth having. Again, like we go through, I cover trials. People can take those how you want, but I think that they do need attention. Hell, I would cover trials all day, every day. But it's, only certain ones. If they intrigue me, I'll cover them until the end of the time. Interestingly, too, YouTube does not like that topic. They very much dislike that topic. They treat that topic probably a worse way than the Sophie topic, which is interesting. I think it's an advertiser-based thing. Like, there's certain advertisers that don't like it talked about. So
yeah, it's YouTube advertising, the whole weird thing. I'm surprised you don't have a folder on YouTube advertising. Like of all of the weird autism folders that you have, that one.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. What does Susan have on you, Tug? What is Susan?
Another thing people don't like with my coverage stuff. People be like, "Oh my God, Tug, you've been covering that thing for 3 months." I keep folders on shit. I have neurotic. That's who I am. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, let's if you don't mind, let's read the chats and then we can wrap up the show. Mm-hmm. There aren't there's not a million to go through. And then after the show, guys, I'll go over to Twitch for a watch party. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to watch tonight. Something fun. I watched Screwballs last night. Have you seen that? The 80s movie that is literally entirely about high school guys trying to see high school girls' breasts.
It's been a long time. I've not seen it in a while.
It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched. It was so funny.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that there's a setup where we can, get together, watch freaking movies through. If people have a Prime account, bam, you can have fun.
Yep. And we can't be criticized for the content because it's literally on Prime already. Okay, Crusader Saracen says, "Did you hear that Facebook designated Kyle Rittenhouse a mass murderer and are removing any posts supporting him? Holy hell, Kyle might end up richer than Nick Sandman after all this. Linwood probably has dollar signs where his eyes should be." Linwood was already doing that. He knew it was coming. That's why Linwood, who is not a criminal defense attorney in Wisconsin, was offered to take over Kyle's case. He could see the writing on the wall. Defamation's coming, and he's going to go for the deepest pockets. Like, Facebook can probably expect a lawsuit, and then everybody else can too, and they deserve it. Fuck them.
What a crazy situation that has been. Whew.
Yeah, that one's a mess. It's really divisive too. I was surprised. I'm surprised by how like visceral the reaction is from people. I mentioned just because I watch my numbers all day long because this is my literal business, but just seeing the the fallout from posting a video in support of Kyle on my channel. Something I thought that's like the least controversial thing I could think of for my channel is to post a video in support of Kyle Rittenhouse. And then turns out though that that caused me to lose significant amount of subscribers directly. It's like, wait a minute. Like this to me seems like one of the most obvious things on earth that this looks like self-defense. Hell, when I read the DA's story about the case in the probable cause statement, it screams self-defense. I was shocked to read that.
Yeah, I was shocked at how I felt like it was pretty black and white, and then watching, I think if people really are interested in putting all the videos together, channels like Donut Operator, he's pretty big on here, covers law enforcement stuff, but he did a good job of breaking down, showing, other firearms involved. And there are other things out there too. But again, I think people have gotten to this idea where they think firearms are ornamentation. If people are bringing guns to shit, it's going to go sooner or later, something's going to go wrong. And the police, government, the tragedy is it wasn't headed off. I mean, let's be honest.
That's been my thing. Is it's twofold. One, I think based on the evidence I've seen, Kyle's entirely justified. Two, there's an important point that justification doesn't mean that I think that it was entirely morally good, that the outcome was entirely correct or desirable, I think is the right term. Personally, I wish Kyle wouldn't have had to be there at all, because I don't want a 17-year-old potentially, he has a real risk of going to prison forever.
Right.
And I don't want that for a kid to have that. And so like I caution, and this has been kind of controversial too, and I'll just briefly touch on it tonight because I'm not going to get into the fight again. But I just caution on like the veneration of him as a hero, because we should not want violence in the streets. And I get it. The other side is trash people and they're burning shit down. I'm not exonerating them, and I'm not saying that they're right. That's not the point at all. It's just we're in this weird spot where like we're talking about a hero, and the heroic actions may end up with this kid's life ruined or changed forever. And that we should be very cautious about what heroism is. And again, it's not to say anything negative about the kid. It's not the point. It's just what about the next kid that sees the story? Kyle was in a way very fortunate because anything could have gone wrong, and he's dead. He's dead that night. So
it's horrifying that we're there. That's
that's the thing. I keep talking to Lady Rackets about this, and she's like, I just can't get my mind around the fact that a 17-year-old has to have a sense of duty because adults won't.
Yeah.
And the adults in this case, it's the entire government of Wisconsin. All of them, from local police who are not responding to this, all the way up to the governor who's trying to get stand down orders, who's worried about PR as an entire city is burned to the ground and they're worried about PR. It's like, that's people's lives. Like, I get Kyle's thing. Like, I get the idea of protecting your community. And it's sad that we have to be there to protect our own communities when we have these police forces that we've entrusted with that duty forever not doing it. That just pisses everybody off.
It's sad that is also turned into, if you want to protect your community, like I want to protect my neighbors or I want to protect my property. Nope. You just want to murder people. No.
Yeah.
You know, the last thing in my life, I carry a firearm. I very openly talk about that. I carry a firearm because fuck people. I also carry in my state we're allowed to carry whatever knife or anything we want. So I carry a straight razor because it's scary. You know, people are like, I don't want to get cut.
Yeah. You really are a horror fan, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I had one time I've ever pulled that thing out, and I had a guy in a traffic altercation. He hit my car, and he came out of his car with a hammer while I was looking at this stuff. I was like, oh shit! I had a gun, but I reached in my back pocket and pulled that out. Pop! He didn't want any of that. His hammer would a hammer beat straight razor, I would say, but he didn't want any of that. He didn't want that dance. So
yeah, I'm a true horror fan. I have a modified 2-person saw that I wield one-handed. Like that's my self-defense weapon.
Oh yeah, well, I have a modified room in my home, or want to play again. No, wait, that sounds too BDS.
Yeah, that's we're in Christian Grey territory now.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean that is a terrible situation though that we're talking about. That I don't want anybody to think when I think that he practiced self-defense. I believe that watching that stuff, and again,
you would
find death. You know,
at this point, to convince me otherwise, you would have to come out with some like very surprising evidence of him saying something along the lines of like, I'm going over there to shoot white people or whatever. You know, like you would have to have something that indicates that he was looking for a fight. And I thought for sure the media would have some tenuous, weak sort of Facebook post or something from 5 years ago that they'd try and paint. They don't have anything on this kid, and that is mind-blowing to me too. I'm like, did this kid ever play Halo online? Like they've got to have him calling people figs or something somewhere.
They're like, he's a law enforcement enthusiast, and like that's the best you've got, really. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because he was what?
Oh no, I heard he was a thin blue line or a Blue Lives Matter extremist. I was like, Blue Lives Matter extremist?
Two Facebook groups, you know, it's like, really?
Is he like there?
I looked at that. The DA laid out everything to give me the places where I needed to know. I saw the crowd chase the guy. I saw the gun go up in the air firing, but I'd wondered, you know, what happens behind that car that I can't see. I see a little bit of footage. DA laid it out, you know, people struggling for a firearm. Things are going wrong again. Yeah. And I got to watch the other 2 shootings. I saw that, you know, I like how the media, the guy who got shot in the arm. I like how the media said he had a cell phone in his hand the first day. I was like, dude, that cell phone, if it dials you up, you're fucked. Oh,
He does have the cell phone in his hand, and it's recording, and they have it. They have the video. Someone sent it to me.
Well, they were calling the gun when it was out. You know, there's even pictures of him bracing after being shot. He has it braced against the ground, and they were ignoring it, saying that was a cell phone. I was like,
no, his cell phone. Yeah, I know that's what they were saying. But when you go back and look, he does have a cell phone in his left hand that's recording, and the gun's in his right hand. But the video from his cell phone is out there.
I'll have to look that. I haven't.
I'll send it to you. I've got someone sent it to me today, and I was like, "Is this what I think it is?" You can't see anything because remember when he goes, he's got the phone and he does like the hands up thing. The phone is like looking the other way, and then he reaches down. So you see him briefly interact with Kyle while they're running. He actually exchanges words with him, and Kyle says like, I'm going to the police or something like that. And then they run on. But but it was, but then by the time he gets shot, you know, it's basically just black. And I think he drops the phone. You kind of hear it rattle around. But it's all there. I'll send it to you, for sure. Cause it was an interesting read or an interesting watch. And the first like 5 times I watched this video, it's not super long. I was like, what is this? Like, who is this? And then you start putting it together. It's like, this is the guy. Oh my God.
Where the guy asks him, where are you going? He's running down the street and he's like, is that the guy? I didn't realize that was the guy who got shot.
Yeah,
I didn't see the end of it. I only saw that little portion in a video. Yeah, send that to me for sure.
Yeah, I'll send it right when we're done here. Okay, I got to get back to these chats. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I'm so bad about it. Sorry.
Knight of Hopex says, I hope to be wrong, but if the Democrats hijack and cheat the mail-in vote such that the outcome changes a week after Election Day, I predict open political violence resulting in 2 million deaths minimum. Be where you need to be should all hell break loose. That's that last line there is actually a really I think that's a really important thing around Election Day, is people should treat Election Day like a looming hurricane. Or the election season, November to December, and they should honestly be prepared for some unrest. I have not seen anything like this election wise. I mean, we're in crazy times. Oh, did you see? I found this funny. Did you see that there's a news story? They're trying to make this into a thing where there was Department of Homeland Security had sent out a warning about Russian interference in this election for trying to make Joe Biden look like he has mental health issues. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, Russia's stupid for investing in that. All you have to do is just play his damn clips.
I love how bots and mental illness are just utilized so haphazardly. You know, everybody owns a million bots, and everybody's a mental health professional or buying some.
How many bots have you purchased on the internet? The internet.
7 million.
That's the one thing. I was like, I can imagine spending money on a lot of stuff to try and improve my show, like hiring an artist or an editor, or hiring like a writer or something. Like, I can imagine all of that. I actually have hired an artist who, you know, helps me with thumbnails and channel art and stuff like that and merch. But like, I can't imagine paying for bots that won't watch the show. That is a weird thing to me. And people they're like, well, Nick has bots. I'm like, what? I do? If I had bots, my numbers would be way higher.
I'm like, you know, really? Because you've got what, a couple thousand people watching now. You know, the numbers there. They say if I had bots, I would definitely have bigger numbers than I have. I mean, I'm grateful for the numbers I have, but I definitely I would buy it up to some insane number. You know, I'd have
because that's the thing. If you could buy, say, so we had 2,700 people roughly at peak tonight. So if you buy another 5,300 people and you get up to 8,000, you're going to be trending on YouTube, which will attract more and more people. That would be a worthy buy if you were going to buy. But if you're like going to buy, and now I love having 2,700 people watch the show. I like having 50 people watch me talk.
I bought to 3 people, you know, when I started out. So I'm happy when people show up, period. I appreciate it.
So I love it, but like the money buy that makes any sort of business sense would be to get into that like 8,000 to 10,000 range of live viewers, because then YouTube will further promote your stream, and that would be the idea of drawing in new people. Like you wouldn't buy subs just to have them. You'd have to, that'd be an investment. It's such a weird thing.
You'd find it in my taxes too. See, I'm such an ass. I would, if I bought it, somebody would just look through my tax.
Your business expense bought subs. $18 in Chinese currency. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird. I think what's funny is that people people forget that, like, eventually, when you just start out YouTube, you can do all sorts of weird stuff, and you're just kind of trying and feeling stuff out. But eventually, I've been doing this almost 3 years now, and I don't know how long have you been doing YouTube?
About 3 years. I started. Well, I mean, I had a channel where I just would like shove up a random thing in there or whatever, but actually,
really doing it.
2017, so right on 3 years.
Oh, yeah, so right about the same time I have. Like, when you've been doing a small business for 3 years, like, I know I do. I shouldn't speak for you, but I assume you look at it like a business. Like, we're figuring out marketing, and we're trying to figure out revenue, and we talk about this in business terms with colleagues as well. And it's like, this isn't some weird like crapshoot for most of us. When you get to a certain amount of time put into it and attitude towards the channel. So like, you're buying subs. Like, well, that would only be if it was a reasonable investment. And I don't know that buying subs ever is, but
it also cost you a channel. I wouldn't do anything that you said something the other night that's very true. We're on a limited time span as it is. One day they will take us all down.
Yeah.
We're wrong thinkers. But while I'm here, I'm not going to do anything to expedite that process. Buying subs, that would definitely do it.
Yeah, and again, it's money out for no purpose. And it's like, I could spend money on any number of things. It'd be better money out than buying subs would be going and dropping large donations on live streams of people you want to interview. That'd be a much better expenditure of business resources. It's crazy.
I'm also proud of milestones. Like, I mean, when I look at YouTube, I'm like, this thing, I built this thing. Like, nobody that was around, they thought I was insane to just put the amount of time I did. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're wasting time. Yeah. And now it works a business. And I'm less than 1,200 subs away from 100,000. I never imagined that. I'm very thankful for it. And I am proud of it because there's no fake, there's no fake freaking botting in there or anything else. Again, it's right on 3 years of work to get to there.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I always love reading theories about like, how I run the YouTube channel and stuff like that. And I'm always like, that's actually, I think that's what you were talking about with the lore, like, the stuff that people kind of make up. It's like, these are way funnier stories. It's like, it's actually a spreadsheet and a business plan. It's way more boring than your version. I'll take yours. It sounds way more fun.
Yeah, instead of me sitting around with TubeBuddy figuring out what tags trend certain ways.
Yeah, or trying to make sense of YouTube saying, well, mid-roll ads can now be on 8-minute videos. Like, okay, wait, you want me to make 8-minute videos now? Like, you want them shorter? If I make a 12-minute video, is that too long? Like, oh my God, trying to figure all that shit out it's just, it's infuriating. It's just infuriating.
I do enjoy the internet lore though. I'm telling you, like, 20% I would say is on main people, they come up with they're interested. I noticed on the comic, by the way, I saw somebody was like, back the book 1 and 2 package. This is for SJW Captain America. So thank you, buddy. I want to give you another shout out.
You always got to shout out your best investments.
Yeah. Well, I give that guy a shout out because he came on a live stream one day, and when I was talking about this stuff, I had 5 live. For a while when YouTube was just botting, people could flag your live streams down. Now they can't. It doesn't work that way anymore. YouTube did something else, but that guy came on. He was talking about that, and he mentioned that he really was calling the police. He mentioned the detective's name and everything. So I told him that day I was going to monetize him. So I've been, every time I get back, make fun of him.
You should have him on the show sometime.
Oh Lord, I'm sure I've probably had him on my lawn and didn't know it yet.
Yeah,
fucking wacko. I mean, Thank you.
Disturbed individual. Bad Vibe says, just to give you two good snippets of Cuomo call leak. Quote, the media isn't your friend. And he says, fellow reporters have asked about allegations. Showing his own hypocrisy and the bias of the media. The call was to a former Trump lawyer. So there you go. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. I'm going to be in whatchamacallit? I'm going to be at a family Bible camp, although it's going to be different for COVID this year. I'll be up at a camp. There won't be much activity for the next several days. So I'll try and catch up on some of that stuff and do some reading as well. Okay, back to this.
Bubble boy in that, you know. I'm up here and I've got this little bubble around me when I'm running around.
No, it's not me, because I'm invincible or whatever, and I don't really worry about any of this stuff. But they just, everything has been shut down. We were at this local place in my town, and it's got go-karts and bumper boats and mini golf and stuff like that. And we were there the other day with our church, and the owner of it came out and thanked the lady who put it on for the youth program. And he says, every other group event the entire summer has canceled. All of them except this one. And you could just hear in his voice, like, how devastating that is. Because if you guys don't know this, those little entertainment places, like, they're fine with the individuals coming in and dropping $20, but what they really need are party events, because they can plan that revenue. That's the sustained revenue. That's their marketing, is scheduling out events and trying to get several of those per week, because that will bring in a reliable stream of income. And to have every single one of them cancel, like, I thought about that and I was like, what if like every live stream I wanted to do was canceled? Like, that's what it is for them. And it's devastating.
California, Nerdrotic put out a video talking about leaving, and in it he links an article. So I was looking it up. It's from the Chamber of Commerce from San Francisco. Before all of this crap, 2,600 small businesses. Currently, 1,200 remain. They've lost that. They expect 54% of those to survive to the end of the year. And instead of helping with it, they put out a guide how to I can't remember exactly how they word it, but it's like how to easily or more easily close your small business. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I hear you. We have the adpocalypse. That's the same thing we go through sometimes. It's horrifying. You know, I get it. I mean, we're talking about real lives with real people. It's devastating.
Well, yeah, Nerdrotic was pissed off because didn't he saw Pelosi, like, going into a salon, but his wife had to close her salon or something like that.
Yeah, and his wife was very successful salon. You know, he was talking about, you know, again, like many small businesses, working from the ground floor up, paying even making it through economic recession, and then this. I mean, if you can't open your business, you can't make money. But yeah, and then having that kind of stuff where you have people violating that, just.
And you can't open your business because of people like Nancy Pelosi specifically, who don't want it open, but they will have their business, you know, the one that they go to. That's like when Governor Whitmer in Michigan, her husband, she opened up the lakes for Memorial Day, or was it Memorial Day? 4th of July or something like that. She opened up the lakes in a specific area of the state, and it just so happened to be where their personal boat is, on a dock. And her husband called the marina and asked them to get his boat prepped. But the marina's like, we just don't have time. And he's like, do you know who I am? I'm the husband of the governor. And that ended up coming out. And it was like, wait a minute. All over the state, Michigan is shut down. But she opens the one lake that their family goes to because their boat is in that marina. And then, yeah, he makes the call. He's like, you know who I am? You know who I am? Oh, God, these people.
Oh, man, I hope I get to a point one day where I can have a public breakdown screaming about, you know who I am.
Oh, dude,
you know who I am? I'm that umbrella guy.
I've already got it planned. I'm going to donate money to a charity. And then my name will be on a plaque, at that charity thing, like at a place. And then like a year later, once the plaque is up, I will have a paper bag full of cheap whiskey, and I will get absolutely hammered, and I will just like sit there and lay down on their benches and pee in the garbage can or whatever. And then when they come to get me, that will be my breakdown. I'm already planning it. I'm going to be like a Lindsay Lohan, but a man doing it.
You know, you don't even have to invest money. I learned this from the Johnny Depp case. There's another reason why you needed this in your plan. Apparently, you can just promise to make a donation, and they'll put you on that giant donor list. Like Amber Heard promised to make a donation. We can't prove that it happened, but of $300,000 to $500,000. You know, you get that bite, so you don't even have to spend any money. You should be like, you know, Rekieta Law, you know, $300,000.
I've been spending money to get my name on plaques, and the whole time I could just lie.
Yeah, you just promised to donate money.
What am I doing with my life? Oh my God. Okay. Mercenary X says, okay, WTF is going on with Micah and everyone. I don't actually know if anything's going on with Micah. Some people are just saying it. So I like Micah, but unfortunately I have a problem with his beef with Doug, Tenaple. It is cringe on both of them. They both need to reconcile whether they like it or not. What is causing all this insanity? I don't know, man. I've been saying the same thing about everybody's beefs with everybody. Dog explained it.
I would kill my beef too, but you know what? Nobody ever talks. I'm killing you. I kill my beef with everybody. I'll say that. I don't bring up anybody anymore. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want internet beef anymore. I'm bored with it. I'm bored. I get so bored.
It really is. I mean, there's some channels out there, and I don't know, you know, there are drama channels, and that's what they do is internet beef, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but you know, small time. Okay, I could see that if that again were your business, but small beefing, there's no money in it either. So,
but even if it's your business, like I don't, you know, I don't begrudge them. Whoa, damn, I don't begrudge them for doing it, but to me, it's like that is the last thing I want to go on YouTube to see personally. I know it's obviously not the last thing everybody wants to go on YouTube to see, because drama channels do very, very well. I mean, you look at guys like Keemstar or whatever. And they'll have sometimes millions of subscribers. So there's clearly a market, but for me, I'm like, this gets so old and boring so fast.
Drama I don't like. Like if I had a problem with yourself or Yellow Flash or whomever, which I like all you guys, and
Tug hates Yellow Flash confirmed.
Make a video, yeah, denounced. I'm planning on I'm gonna follow that Thomas Royal model. I'm gonna do a Nick Rekieta exposed video.
God, I hope it's funny. That's all I ask. Please make it funny.
It's just gonna be like pictures of blackface. I'm gonna do a picture of you in blackface, and then I'm gonna get some generic pictures from Walmart, and I'm gonna say for your children, and I'm gonna put them in blackface too. I'm gonna be like, look,
if you're gonna do the blackface gig, I gotta warn you, Jesse from Pod Awful, he took it, I think, to the farthest level. He contacted some company over in like Sweden who makes dolls out of kids' drawings. Like your kid has a drawing of a person or whatever, you can send it to them, and for like $100, they'll make it into a plushy doll that is, the kid's thing. And I guess they mostly do it for like therapy for kids with certain like spectrum disorders or something like that. But they'll do it. He got them by kind of accident to make a doll of me in blackface.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh,
and like God. They originally told him no, because they're like, oh, we can't do that. That's offensive. And so then he told them, he sent him a picture of Drexel and said that this was my friend and that I had died. And the picture of me in blackface was like the last thing that Drexel had to remember me by, and so it was like this real endearing memory, and the doll was for him, and so they made it.
Now I hope that he donated that to Drexel afterwards, so he could just carry it around and remember.
No, I think he just sells them on his website. Actually,
curious.
It was like that was the funniest. I was like, I can't even be mad about this. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah. that's all I ask. If somebody wants to do something really fucked up and funny, like there are a lot of mailbox memes, and I'm a duct tape enthusiast. So I mean, I think those are fucking hilarious. I have fun with that. That's good stuff.
Okay, next, Dogsplain says, I'm absolutely shocked, just shocked, I tell you, that the guy who obsessively puts things in folders might have a database for the comic books he owns. Jeff the Gamer says, hey, Nick, did you get the link you wanted me to send you on Discord last night about Vic's Funko from last night's Twitch stream? Yes, I did, Jeff. Thank you. Reed in Lemon says, you've made your last GoFundMe, Nick. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling, it must seem like an 18-carat run of bad lungs. Truth is, the case was rigged from the start. There you go. Thank you for that. Thank you for making me read in Lemoyne's voice. DLV says, stop talking about file extensions and use BitChute's auto mirror feature, doofus. Keep up the great work. Does BitChute auto mirror? I should.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it does that. But I'm boomered that up too. I don't know what I did, so mine doesn't auto mirror.
Yeah. I gotta look. I've gotta look. Basement Troll Production says, rip Tom Seaver, 1967 National League Rookie of the Year, 12 times All-Star, 3 times Cy Young, 92 Hall of Fame inductee with a 2.86 career ERA. Without question, the best pitcher in Mets history. Sorry, Jake. Hashtag RIP41, press F for respects. That was a lot of baseball. Alien Xenomorph says, DA talks, Social Blade looks like a dangerous ski slope in Colorado. That's kind of funny. It's a little mean, but it's kind of funny.
Very true. I mean,
has he been losing subscribers or viewers or something?
They're not gaining any, I guess. Riding. I guess it's sad, like when you set out to ride other people's dicks and it doesn't work out for you. Poor guy.
I don't know. I don't have any problem with DA talks. I just want to put that out there. Like
I'll put that out there. I do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I have no issue.
Yeah, you don't care. You're like, I think you've made that clear in 2 live streams now.
I really don't. Like, it's okay. But I just want to put that, like, I'll laugh at a joke that's funny, but I don't want to make it sound like I have a problem with them. I don't. Shy's Place says, first super chat. Oh, hey, thank you. Both Save Sophie are gone. What the hell? There's a lot of it's been revealed that there was something like 150 or 250 fake GoFundMe accounts for the I think it's Stand with Sophie. The one that's legit is the one with $150,000 in it. That's the real one. Yeah. So
you can tell which one. That's the sad reality of all this stuff too. Those are scumbags. They're like the people in COVID that took baby formula, bought it all up. In this area, for example, we couldn't find baby formula at all because people were buying it and reselling $28 cans of baby formula for $280. Those are the same kind of scumbags. I put them on the same level.
Alien Xenomorph sent a couple chats. He says, Micah Curtis calls you Grifter Law. What a jerk. Then he sent, Micah Curtis calls you Grifter Law. What a jerk. Then he sent, Micah Curtis is really good friends with Vox Day. So, okay. All right to all three of those. Memology 101 says, thanks for simping, lol.
Yep. I do. I like, memology for real. I'll simp for his channel. I like it quite a bit. But like I said, when, you can tell, like, again, internet friends, I don't know many people out there, but when I needed somebody to cover some shit, people like memology, yourself, other people did it. And I remember that. That's why I don't beef with a lot of people. If you got a problem with me, if you did a Tug expose, I probably wouldn't even answer it.
I'm going to do one now.
Yeah, you need to. It just make it good. Remember, furniture making and international criminal. I need those.
Well, you will make furniture for the purpose of having sex with it later.
Awesome. I wonder why I drilled all those holes in it now. I know.
Exactly. But you have to use the hand crank drill because you like that authentic feel. Memology 101 also subscribe to the channel. Welcome to the paralegal program, buddy. Let me know if you have any questions. Alien Xenomorph says Micah Curtis helped hide Justin Carmichael's crimes. I don't know who Justin Carmichael is. C14 Dog says back the horror comic Teether on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So you guys can check that out. CJ says in Tug voice says, hey there, y'all.
Y'all, of course, yeah.
Angry Baneling says, hey there, Tug. Can you dox Nick's haircut guy? Leave that poor man alone. I just want to talk to him about something. Also, Nick, did you see the new RTX 30 cards? Rip your 2080 Ti. No, my 2080 Ti will be fine moving into my kid's machine. Hildred Castagne says Dwayne The Rock Johnson and family have the coof. Yes, they've all tested positive for COVID. That's nice.
That sucks.
Sheila Allen. Oh, wait, what's up?
I was going to say with the haircut thing, I've always wanted to, this is just random, but you've ever seen the Flobies? You remember those? They hooked a vacuum cleaner. They cut their hair with them.
Actually,
I always try one of those out. I don't know why. You were talking about bad haircuts. I was like, I wonder what would happen if I got a Flobie.
So I met up with someone in Florida while I was down there and had lunch with them. And they're like, look, don't let people give you crap about your haircut. It's the best haircut I've ever seen a Flobie give. And I was like, you motherfucker.
That's fun shit. We couldn't, like around here, I get my hair cut. We couldn't, even in small town, you could tell we have a bona fide hairdresser because here we still don't have a lot of acceptance for other identities, and he's full-fledged, other identity. So he's good, and we can't go to him now. I've been cutting my own hair. It's horrible. Fucking horrible.
No, don't ever.
I'm glad you can look at my symbol there. Otherwise, I would be like Nick's meme there. I mean, great haircut. Great haircut.
Hey, wait a minute. Sheila Allen says, Tug, is it true one of your stalkers is a little person? We did talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew War Snowbird says, favorite Waffle House menu item. I've never eaten at a Waffle House in my entire life.
Chocolate chip pancakes. No, that's about it.
I want to eat at a Waffle House, but I don't want to take a million kids into Waffle House.
You don't want to die from their food. Ours is awful here, but the only thing that's edible always is chocolate chip pancakes. So.
We always ate at IHOP when I grew up in Texas. I mean, we ate at IHOP all the time. I never ate at a Waffle House. Okay. Oh. Laughing Kuro says Micah Curtis is a beta who's jealous of other people's success on this platform and involving comics, such as his whining about EFAP's Mauler.
I'm going to wait for tomorrow and hear that Micah never really said anything about you. That'll be
that's what I'm worried about. I'm like, okay. Agent Yokai Zero says thanks for the help, Tug. I don't know what for. Kalinka Pav. Did I miss that Bad Vibes said the turd heard round the world about Amber Heard dropping beef in the blanket? I think I might have missed that one. That's funny.
Maybe. I don't remember that one.
Kalinka Pavlova says, I'm sitting here eating a chocolate mousse, deciding to check in, and y'all are talking about bed poop made by Heard. Bloody hell.
Do you think that like this is the thing I kept wondering, she is sold on her looks. I mean, that's always been. In fact, there was a new article talking about her, look at her see-through top and all of this. Okay, well, if people are talking about you as Amber Turd and it links back to that, do you think that might hurt your potential future?
No, because again, they picture her, like that Miley Cyrus picture or whatever. That's how she shits on the bed, like with glowing polished ass cheeks or whatever. Oh my god. The Gnome Depot says I've only been subscribed to this channel for about a week now, and I'm so glad I found it. Keep up the good work, mate. Hey, thanks, buddy. Welcome. Hopefully many more weeks to come. Gelth Walker says Tug shill time soon. I think I can get another card. Okay. Very cool.
Talking about supporting Gelth Walker, it supported the comic quite a bit, and one of the things in live streams, if you want to come catch our live streams, he has supported giveaways and stuff, so that's awesome. Appreciate the heck out of that for sure.
Yeah, Gelth is great, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want to point
out. I like Gelth. I like picking on Gelth too. My daughter called him Girth Walker one day. I was like a boy sport.
I think he got a hater on your channel too. That was funny.
Yeah, I saw that. Like he asked me if he could ban them, and you know what? I let him because they yeah they went too far. You know, they went way far. You can have a hater, man. Sometimes haters are fun, but he was like, "Can I ban them, Tug?" I was like, "Yes, fuck them."
Comrade Commissar Yuri says, talking of comics, Marvel brought out the Aliens Omnibus since they have the rights. There's already stolen art in it. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Robert Stratton, thank you for joining the channel at the lawyer level. Super FM 101 says, I feel personally attacked. I'm a guy with a higher pitched voice. I got called mama all the time by those that don't see me. Oh, that's kind of funny. I'm glad you can laugh about it. DJD Show says, y'all, and lemon. Oh, wait. Y'all.
Fuck.
You're welcome.
That goes back to I talked about. I hate the ritual appropriation, bitches.
On the stream had a hiccup, but we're back. Jesus Christ. YouTube, have you been having any issues with that? Have you been doing streams a lot lately?
Yeah, I had the other day. It knocked me out of my. When you go in, one of the beautiful things about the StreamYards is you can get knocked out of it and still sign back in. It doesn't kill your stream. So it literally knocked me out of the. It locked up thing, but it knocked me out of it. I had to go back in, do all of that stuff up, and it was weird. I don't know what's going on with YouTube lately, but it's been a mess.
Yeah. Cal Larkin says, I'm sorry for my comments last stream. The grief of losing my dog got to me. Beware of pit bulls. You don't need to apologize, buddy. He had a pit bull attacked and killed his dog. Which is
fuck that, man. Like grief. Oh, shoot, fuck that. Yeah. You don't have to worry about your.
Yeah, you don't ever have to apologize for that.
Data. Come on. Really?
Kidda says Discover has announced they will cut payment processing off from any organization that takes donations for Kyle's legal defense.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. No one important says, hey, Tug, did you see the Toonami Black Lives Matter commercial?
I've not yet. Can somebody link that to me? I did not watch it. I haven't.
They've got the Toonami robot or whatever that's been around forever. That he does like a Black Lives Matter talk or whatever. It's like
if I were,
I always hated that robot anyway, though. So you know what? Fuck him. I don't like him. I never liked him to start.
I just hate pandering. I hate that companies feel that the way I take this, I hope that every black person out there takes it this way. If they cared about all of this, they say they cared about Black lives. Why didn't they care before? They only care now. Well, fuck them. So pandering sucks. It can always be used against you, and I hope it's used against these people.
I never liked that stupid robot. He always wasted too much of my time. And the animation was shit. Bad Vibe says continued. Michael Cohen. Oh, Michael Cohen was the call with with Cuomo on the phone. And then Bad Vibe says, remember Cuomo has said believe all women. Gelth Walker says, can we do a giveaway here? I'll buy the card if so. Do a giveaway of what? Buying
it's like a tier on the comic book. But the way I don't know. Yeah, we just do it like a countdown there, but I don't know. Like that might be disruptive for you.
Yeah, well, it's also really we're 40 minutes over.
Coordinated through 2 channels and stuff. Just
yeah,
you know,
it sounds like a minor disaster.
Yeah, I'm very. I hope I come through all right because I'm very dry. Like you can tell when I start interrupting people. Like I apologize for got to be on the YouTube side.
Oh God, I hate this. It's guys, we're back. It's completely on. Yeah, bring your Fs, take your Fs back. We're back. It's on YouTube side apparently because Tug and I have been here, and so if Tug is still here, that internet must still be working. But
hey, it's awesome guests, man. They just can't handle it on the YouTube side. They're like, oh no.
We've got too much ego in this stream. No, who has joined the show? Oh my God, it did it again. It's back. I just want to say thank you to my man Tug here for enduring the internet courts of internet crimery and then hanging out and chatting with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a long time, buddy. So I wanted to.
It's fun, dude. Like
Yeah.
I do. If anybody thinks that people have a problem, though, I get that a lot. Like, you know, you and blah blah blah. Like Yellow Flash when I didn't go on for a little while. Like Rekieta. No, man, we do our own things. But it's good to hang out. I enjoy all these guys. It's fun. You know.
Yeah, man. It's always fun for me, and I really appreciate you coming on. So let's say goodbye to the chat, and then we'll end the stream, and I'll say goodbye to you right after, if that's okay.
Oh, good stuff. He's gonna blow kisses and make me a sandwich. Make me a sandwich, Nick.
I've unironically been when I went down to visit my parents. For some reason, like I don't make sandwiches anymore in my life, but when I went down there, my mom was like, "Oh, you want like one of these ham sandwiches?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want a ham sandwich." And I ate one. It had like lettuce on it and pickles, and I was like, "Oh God, I love sandwiches." So since I've been back from Florida, I'm like sitting here making sandwiches all day. God, I love sandwiches, because they're tasty, and I never think to make them. It really annoys. It really annoys me.
Oh, I really do make sandwiches. You want one? Yeah. Mail me one. I need one.
I'll send you one. No big deal. And then Bad Vibe says Nick drinks the stream hiccups. All right, guys. We're gonna say goodbye. If you want to come over onto twitch.tv/Rekieta Law, we'll do a quick watch party. I don't know what it's gonna be tonight. Probably something fun. But Tug, do you have anything you want to say or plug before we close out?
Just sub the channel if you haven't. You know, we cover a lot of stuff over there. We're close to 100K, so help us get over there. Don't unsub because you're like, ha, fuck you. And seriously, we have another case for the Littlest Umbrella. Check our comic book out. Again, he's got the pitch in there if you want to know more about it. Well, I'll tell you about that. I hate going on channels and plugging stuff. I just want to come hang out and goof off. So, but check our stuff.
I threw your channel link in the description of the stream, so people can check it out there as well if they need access to it. And then you should be able to find the Littlest Umbrella on there pretty simply, I would imagine. And yeah. Well, thanks guys for hanging out, and we'll see you soon. Have a good night. No outro because when I have a guest, I can't really do it because I haven't figured out how to do that. I know there's a way, but I don't know what it is. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.